more to us than the words we say, the games we play. Can we know that we're not dreaming? We have this feeling that we can't explain. Do this every day, but love will find its way. I feel your presence, but I can't help but notice that you are missing where I need you most. I'm so cold inside, but I can't stop this fever.
Hello everyone, good evening if you are in the Eastern time zones, and welcome to Swim or Sink edition number 228. I am Frostix, and joined on the mic with me is the lovely Nox Raven, and man, it's a very sunny evening here in Toronto. What about you?
Yeah, I'm also in Toronto. I forgot that we're both here.
Exactly.
Yeah, the weather's been lovely. It's great here right now. It's the good time of year to be in Toronto.
Yeah, and then what's it called? Circa maybe like 3-4 months later, we enter the Great Gray period, and then snow.
Not the gray period again.
But it's okay until then. The sun is out, and well, I just hope the pollen isn't coming because I sneeze really hard sometimes.
You know, I will say the pollen here never as bad as it was in North Carolina, where you could see a literal layer of yellow at the right times of year.
Oh wow, layer of yellow. It's like you're in a Breaking Bad episode.
It really is.
It's like you're seeing the sepia filter.
It's very wild, and really excited to see what these two teams get up to. It's all zones today for reasons I only sort of remember. I know it has to do with every 8th SOS. More than that, a mystery.
And potentially every 3rd, but like you said, it's a mystery. We've got Last Call and Collapse on the chopping block today on our Zones exclusive edition of SOS, and we're opening the sets on Barnacle and Dime.
I mean, it's a classic, it's a go-to. It's used a lot for a reason. Definitely has some really heavy choke points that can be hard to break past and can become very lockout heavy, so it'll be interesting to see how these teams approach that.
Definitely so. I think a really interesting thing to note about Barnacle and Dime is just that because of, I think, court, that kind of general area from plat and court, it is kind of like a mini mid ult on its own. So then once a team kind of engages within a lockout position, once you're able to break free of a lockout, you have to basically take mid twice, maybe even 3 times. If you're taking back your own spawn, then taking mid, then you need to try and take their own plat and then their own court. So then you're kind of fighting 3 as big team fights if you want to get a really strong foothold if you're locked out, and a lot kind of rides on that on Barnacle and Dime, I'd say.
Yeah, and it's definitely a stage where you can see a lot of AoE weapons like blasters or sloshers doing particularly well. There's so many ledges to work around. It is one that I think Fraudsire is a stamper player for Last Call, so
Yes.
that could be very impactful here with those ledges, getting to play around the height differences of the stage.
Yeah, I do. I remember running into Fraudsire in Open. I swear it. I swear I remember seeing Fraudsire's name, and I'm pretty sure there was a stamper in their hands, and I'm also thinking that was on Bluefin for some reason, and that's a very weird spot to run into someone. But you know what? That they got me running. On the other end, Collapse, you've got Endurance, Navy, Tiamat, and Virus. But yeah, I think like when it comes down to just the weapons that you'd see a lot, I think you see AoE weapons here, but I think also weapons that can take space really quickly here. Maybe like some of the more faster, but still I think how do I say this? Like adaptable front lines.
Yeah,
Stuff
no,
like,
absolutely.
Stuff like Splash, or not like Splash, something like a Gal, something like I'm really thinking Custom Blaster. I don't know why. That's been in the forecast lately.
I mean, it's hard to say no to a custom blaster or a vanilla blaster these days. They do exceptionally well here. Would be surprised to not see a heavy edit on a stage like this. Not a heavy edit, a normal heavy splatling.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Comet plays E-Leader, so that's always an interesting pairing to see up against each other. I will say that the splatling is usually at a disadvantage in them. E-Leader kind of eats them for breakfast if they don't position correctly.
Yes, exactly. And then when you have a kind of more open mid, like on Barnacle and Dime, if that leader can prop up and just kind of like hunker down in a spot like Snipe, or even in a spot like what's good, the top right corner of Plat here, that one overlooks right street. If they can have a really good vantage point that allows them to have a lot of good sight lines here, you really need to be paying attention in terms of your position. You don't want to be within the crosshairs of the enemy backline, assuming that they're on a weapon like leader.
Yeah, definitely not. Positioning becomes more important than ever. If you have splash walls, using them well really adds a lot. It'll be interesting to see how they go about doing it. It does seem like one of the teams might be looking for a sub, so it might be a couple more moments. But I'm very intrigued to see how they approach the stage. And I'm not expecting to see a Tri-Stringer come out here, which is a bummer. This is a stage I personally love Tri-Stringer on.
My team runs a Stringer in the back line here. Chris plays well string, but also the bulbs, and like, yeah, the AoE from like any stringer can provide some really good coverage when you're trying to push in. So it would have been it could be nice to see that, but I think just like with all the cards on the table, I think stringers kind of get shredded either by the insane cover, like the insane fire rate of a Splatling, or just the sheer pressure that a charger can output. In terms of the rest of the set forecast, we're looking at Museum for Game 2 and Crableg for Game 3.
Yeah, I mean, both of those are very long-range maps. If you have an E-Leader player, they're going to be thrilled to go there. We'll definitely force the Heavy to have to play a little more defensively, have to adapt a bit more, rather than being able to play the more traditional, like, midline anchor that it really wants to.
Yeah, and I think especially on a map like Crableg, if your backline can be within a really more forward position, like on the mid grades here, or just even like a little bit more forward, your team has a lot more staying power in mid. And then on a map like Crableg, in which the zone is just kind of in mid, having control of it really, really matters.
It does. I mean, just being able to maintain that presence, continue to get those jump-ins for your teammates, ensure that you're holding that space. I mean, the anchor's purpose is to be the last man standing, to continue holding that space and denying space from the other team. And E-Leader and Heavy Splatling are incredibly great at that.
Exactly, yeah, they're just good at holding down space, but also, I will say, both of those weapons have Wave Breaker, and it's good for just driving more space away. But we have no more time left to analyze, Nox. It's time to dive into the action. What are we seeing on the end of Collapse? That's a pencil, and that's an L3?
H3.
H3.
Yeah, that's the H3. I want to say Viper, but I'm likely wrong there. But it's a really interesting kit. Suction Bomb, Triple Ink Strike definitely will be able to do a lot. Haven't seen much of H3s in Splatoon 3, but definitely can put out a lot of paint and a lot of pressure. And should be interesting to see how they manage to do into a more traditional Splatoon 3 kind of comp.
What's good to note about H3, and maybe just also the Nozzle Nose series in general, is that it has a one-shot potential, and if you can get in a good position here, you can practically burst down an entire choke point. But what we're seeing right now is that last call was in an attempt to cap the zone, but we're now seeing Collapse cap it instead. The Custom Blaster has gone down. The Wave Breaker trying to at least scope out some targets, but not getting any value right now. Fraudsire as well as Comet are trying to hold down Stack. They are able to get rid of Glow. A Booyah Bomb is being charged up as well here. The Zap unfortunately will be going down, but two members of Collapse have gone down. The zone is in neutral, and with only Fraudsire and Weremud, I think they're just able to drive back Collapse and I think eventually paint the zone.
They did eventually cap it. Might have taken them a second longer than they wanted, but that's how it goes sometimes. The blaster really trying to move forward there does get shut down. We're going to be seeing Collapse looking to use this crab tank to help break them in, able to find 2 with it. The triple splashdown comes out, able to find 1, not able to fully clean it up. Zoned back over in Collapse's favor. And right now, they're going to be able to get a good setup here.
Very good setup indeed. They practically, they staggered Last Call really hard. And with Comet and the rest of Last Call respawning here, Collapse is just trying to maintain some positions. Unfortunately, we saw Glow get sniped down right then and there. We're seeing Styes here trying to charge up their cooler, also trying to scope out some targets. Weremutt is taking some damage. I think we're seeing Idris Elba move in. 3 members down on Last Call once again, and Comet is being forced to reposition. The Splash is unfortunately going down. The Gal is trying to reevaluate their position here, and we're seeing Fraudsire charge up their Booyah Bomb, and it's a potential sign for the rest of Last Call to move in.
Yeah, Booyah Bomb as a way to initiate, great way to start breaking your team back in. But Collapse ready to deal with it. Triple Ink Strikes coming out as an answer. Looking to move forward. Fraudsire trying to poke at this zone. Able to neutralize it, but not able to get the hold. Booyah Bomb comes out, but it's just going to be painted over as Collapse takes game 1 of the set.
Yeah, I really do appreciate the initiative from Fraudsire there. The Booyah Bomb, obviously, really good beacon to get going, but I think it also requires a lot more assistance from the team. I think when Collapse, let's see, they're running the Gal, they're running the Pencil here. Those 2 weapons alone, a lot of paints here. And then those 2, I feel like, can also relatively, I think they're able to kind of output the same amount of paint as a Booyah Bomb. So then next thing you know, the Booyah Bomb doesn't entirely cap the zone there, maybe not even put it into neutral here. So then at that point, I feel like the rest of Last Call, they really needed to kind of get all hands on deck, especially as the timer was just running slim on them.
Yeah, and I mean, it's hard to find those moments. It takes a lot of practice to find when you can rush in and when you absolutely have to. And there was a lot of awareness there from Collapse of going, we just need to paint. Because sometimes, and often in Splatoon, you just need to paint. It's not always the most complicated situation, especially if it's a Booyah Bomb and you're a Snipe Writer and a Splash-O-Matic.
Yeah, actually, yeah. Now that you've listed all those other the other weapons on Collapse's comp, yeah, they are definitely able to paint that zone here. And even when that 4th member is an H3, that's their strikes user, by the way.
Yeah.
So.
No, they've got a lot of turf output. It's really great to see. H3, not something we see much of these days. Super cool high skill expression weapon. Would not mind seeing more of it around. Just very punishing if you make any mistakes.
Exactly. You don't want to overstep too much here. Not even just because of the H3, but then you have the Gal, which is good at just controlling space. That Crab that can come out from the Splash-O-Matic will always be good at hunkering down space. And then, of course, the Pencil, good at just maintaining the rest of the team, keeping them in the fight, but also keeping the space in their favor. We're going into Museum now. A lot more verticality, which I feel like could be good for Last Call, as we're now seeing them, they were on that Dreadringer last time, right?
No, I believe they were on the Custom Blaster last time. But Dreadringer definitely always a great pick for zones. Doesn't cap the zone quite as easily as it used to, but still does an excellent job. Collapse collapsing forward very quickly, looking to keep Last Call from even getting a chance to set up.
Yeah, but we're seeing now the strikes come out from Collapse as well. Weremutt does have the slider. We're seeing Fraudsire charge up the Booyah Bomb, and already we're seeing the Gal go down. We're seeing Virus taking some damage in this 2v1, but they are able to get rid of Fraudsire. Weremutt's able to clean up the trade here. They're now putting the zone into neutral. I think right now, they don't even need to use the slider for zone. They're likely eyeing an opportunity to send the slider all the way to their spinner, but we'll just have to see what will come out of that slider, and also of this Wave Breaker.
Yeah, I mean, Wavebreaker definitely very useful at poking around, helping find enemies. We're seeing Last Call taking up so much space, doing an excellent job of getting their E-leader set up. I hope they do have somebody over there watching that left side, because Collapse should try and push over there before too long. Very aggressive Reef Slider, slowing down Collapse.
But it doesn't seem like Last Call is starting to pick up pace either, because they went 2 down in that previous push, and that Crab and Strike combo will immediately flip the zone in Collapse's hands here. They don't have any penalty to work through here, and already Bell has gone down, Fraudsire's gone down. It's only Weremutt, and we don't know where that Dreadringer is. They're on their spinner, and Virus is hunting them down.
Yeah, doing an excellent job. laying down so much turf that it really makes it so Last Call doesn't get a lot of space to work with. They're getting somewhat close to that crab tank, which if they can get it set up on that spinner is so impactful. Comet gets taken out by some excellent shots, managing to dodge and dash around, but the 52 gal can't quite get out of there. But lead has switched over to Collapse as they are looking to try and take this set with ease.
With ease indeed, and they're already clearing through the 20 threshold here. That Booyah Bomb from Frodsire will not do any damage. Here comes the slide from Weremut, not even putting the zone into neutral Nox here. And Virus unfortunately going down into 2v1. Now the zone is neutral and is immediately flipped by Last Call here. They're not letting this set go down just yet. Frodsire has the Booyah Bomb basically ready to go, and we're already seeing Bell and Weremut immediately taking the plat here. Frodsire has their Booyah Bomb. We're also seeing Comet have the Wave Break. A crab is ready on the side of Collapse, which could be good for breaking out. Same thing with these whales. Is that a flank I see from Tiamat? But it has been spotted out and I think dealt with by the Wave Breaker. So now Last Call are working through their points very, very efficiently and also getting rid of the gal really good. They're in the 20 threshold. They could take this lead back.
They could. The E-leader does get taken out. The triple ink strikes go for the zone. The zone is in neutral. Idris Elba able to find one, looking for a second. Frodsire does manage to take them down. The Snipe Rider is doing everything they can to paint the zone. The gal is dropped, but the Reef Slider comes out, but the zone is still in neutral. Time is trying to tick by. The zone goes back to Last Call. The lead switches.
And now it's basically within single digits, and I don't think anyone from Collapse is going to be... Wait! The zone's in neutral! The zone is in neutral! Tiamat is almost at strikes! Collapse need to paint this zone now, or else it will be a knockout, but Tiamat's going to be able... No! They're not able to cap the zone!
You can't always go for the pick. Sometimes it's such a tempting looking pick, especially on a weapon like H3, where they are so hard to get, and... sometimes you make the wrong choice in the heat of the moment. You lose the zone. But there's a game 3. Always happy to see a game 3. And really great job there from Comet on that E-leader of watching that left side drop to prevent any flanks from happening.
Yeah, exactly. I think that left side drop is obviously kind of just a really big hot spot for people to go to here. It's kind of like crazy to anticipate the H3 going there, but then of course with its high kill pressure and also like with the strikes almost ready to go, it's always good to ensure that you have the vision for that. And I feel like vision is going to be something that'll be very much important on a map like Crab Leg.
Yes, it definitely will. Definitely, I'd say the best Snipe Rider map in the game. Great E-leader map. So both of these teams should be very content with that. I would imagine the Custom Blaster or the Dreadringer will definitely stick around here. They play so well around those ledges, and that's going to matter so much. Admittedly, the shooter class doesn't tend to do... It still does perfectly fine on this stage. It's the shooter class. It does fine everywhere. But it doesn't have a lot of innate advantages. There's not a lot of interesting map geometry that they can play around with.
No, exactly. I think like when you have a lot of these kind of surfaces that you can just kind of immediately duck under, or like especially when you're also really vulnerable here, shooters can't like necessarily don't have like the same kind of benefits as the AoE weapons like bucket and blasters, or maybe even the swords can bring out here because you know, like you're just able to kind of just weave in and out of these spaces and also just like work around the AoEs here. Like what was it like? I think Last Call just has a lot of good potential. Has a lot of potential to work like to really cheese these ledges. I feel because like you have a blaster or a bucket, and then you have a sword. Between those two, it's Ledge City.
Yes, absolutely. And it really helps out on a stage like this where you're wanting to pressure the Snipe Rider away from ledges. You're wanting to poke at crab tanks because they keep running that Splash-O-Matic. I imagine the H3 will stick around since they've stuck with it so far, but it's definitely an interesting choice here. It'll struggle a little bit with how the map is laid out, I think.
No, yeah, but I think if Tiamat can really play around their range here, they could land some sneaky bursts here, just able to get rid of anyone that just is not noticing them, and no switch-ups all around. We're already seeing the teams barreling out into mid. I think someone is already trying to stay up there. That is Steez on the pencil for Collapse, and it is heavily yellow as Collapse will be capping the zone first. Glow taking a lot of initiative moving in. Steez is painting their cooler. We're seeing Virus, aka Idris Elba, popping their crab, but it's met with some resistance by both Bell and Weremut, and that crab is shredded, but Idris Elba does not go down without a fight, and they get two members down on Last Call and immediately flip the zone in their favor.
Yeah, great job here of just being able to play so aggressively and so quickly. Collapse does not hesitate to move forward. They take any space they're given and try and go as far as they can with it. The 52 gal using that splash wall really well to find that splat. And now the Crab Tank in an excellent position to allow Tiamat to go forward, poke at people, and just really keep the team Last Call from moving forward at all. And they're continuously staggering their specials, which is really making a world of difference here.
Yeah, that strikes coming out, especially when the rest of Last Call comes out, really key move, because look how much time they've wasted trying to dance around those strikes. Collapse are in the 20 threshold here, and they've already burned the Booyah Bomb and Indra's Elbow, also wasting their time as well here. They are going to go 2 members down, but look at these points. The damage is being dealt. Last Call need to put paint on the zone, but there's just no one there. Comet is the last one left. Fraudsire is in position, but is anyone from Last Call able to be there? No,
not at all. And especially when the 2 players up there for the most of that little last stretch of trying to paint were an E-leader and a Snipe Rider. I think we know who wins that paint battle every time.
Unfortunately, the wrong people were there in the most dire of situations, and that will be game 1. Our first set of the stream will be going to Collapse.
Yeah, really great job from them. Did an excellent job at figuring out what they needed to do and how they needed to do it, and keeping the pace up was really impressive.
Hey, Fox, where's the pool? Where's the pool?
It's not our business. Don't worry about that.
Oh, okay.
Sometimes it's not our business.
We've encountered redacted info.
Exactly. But yeah, really great job from Collapse. They played like what their name is. They really did collapse in and surround the members of Last Call.
Yes. They practically, as soon as they got their foothold here, considering was it 3 of them are shooter? 3 of them were shooter players, and then one of them was a pencil here. So they're able to just move in, and I'm already noticing the next 2 teams here. So we've got Global Gauntlet 2 finals Friday at 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. That's true,
and real.
By the way.
That is true and real. Exactly. Everyone should watch that.
Mm-hmm. And we've also got, is it a pickup or a up pick? Oh, I didn't notice that second part of it when I was initially scanning through the teams. Is it a pickup or a up pick? I feel like
it's a pickup. It's always a pickup. You can't trick me, Splatoon players. It should be interesting to get into here. Always exciting. And we're going to start off on Mako Mart, which is less exciting, but it's fine. I say is the Mako Mart's biggest hater.
I don't even blame you, though, because it can feel like a real headache to try and retake from, especially when you have front lines in your, on your right side here. You have to really methodically retake. Specifically, what my team does is that we try to retake from left side and try to take left stack, but then at that point, you're exposing yourself to a lot of risks. So really working around just maintaining pressure and positioning, and also always being sure that the ledge beneath you doesn't have a blaster or a carbon underneath it. That's very key.
Yes, it is very key. It's always very interesting. My issue with Mako Mart is just that I am simply bored of it. You have good reasons. I've seen this map for 7 years. Retired.
I have too. I have too. I played a little bit of Compton too, and yeah, I've had my fair share of Mako Mart. I've had my fair share of
Inkblot Tower Control.
Inkblot Tower Control. There we go. That's the other one that was there since too.
Every tournament that had counter picks used to be Splat Zone's Mako Mart into TC Inkblot, and it was inescapable for years. So I'm glad we finally broken out of this cycle. It's a relief for me. And hopefully these teams will make Mako Mart look fresh and refreshing.
Yes. Fresh coat of paint on aisle 5 here. And well, wouldn't you look, there it is. There is a carbon, but we're also seeing 2 bows, Nox. 2 bows!
Wow, that's very impressive. Always happy to see that personally. And it's a pretty good stage for them. There's a lot of trigonometry for them to play with, and I love seeing that Inkling bow out here specifically. The super chumps are very useful.
I am actually a lot more excited to see the bulb stringer here. the Inkjet as well as the line marker are really good for just giving your team some good supports here, giving your team some bonus pushing power with, as soon as I say it, the Inkjet, which is already up on high, getting rid of the Stamper here. Jason, the Incline on Global Gauntlets, and taking some damage, being forced to relocate to another stack. The paintbrush is going down here. Just so much fighting was going on within that bubble, huh?
I mean, that's what a carbon roller will do. And a great shot from Jason, allowing Global Gauntlet 2 finals on Friday to keep the control of the zone despite going a lot of players down. Jason's doing an excellent job at just maintaining space, maintaining turf, and finding the splats when they need them. That's amazing to see. And now the Zap dashing around, looking to try and find the paintbrush, able to, and that's the zone staying with Global Gauntlet 2 finals on Friday.
Yes, Friday at 8 p.m. Pacific time, and we also see some cooler coming out from Global Gauntlet, and they're making their way through their points. We're seeing Hijinks trying to do as their name suggests and start some, as they're going for a flank. Ellie's going to be able to get rid of life. There is a jet ready to deploy, but I don't think anyone is there to capitalize off of it.
Yeah, it doesn't quite seem like it, which is wild to see. Global Gauntlet 2 finals at 8 p.m. Pacific. Doing a great job here. Carbon dropping down, able to find the decav. Just really shutting down any potential push from, is it a pickup or an up pick?
It does not look like they're able to pick up this game because this one's going to Global Gauntlet 2 Fridays at 8 Pacific.
Yeah,
really?
Which is very exciting.
Very exciting. Indeed. It was a pretty clean match, all things considered, able to work their way through their points here. I'm not even sure if the members of Global Gauntlet 2 Finals Friday at 8 Pacific was able... I don't think they really pushed that deep. They were just able to keep them at bay, doing their best Gandalf impression, clearly.
Well, and I think a lot of that was how Jason was playing that Tri-Stringer. The splats that they were finding were really good, but they were also just doing a great job of laying paint down. It's something that we don't always think about Tri-Stringer being good at, but it is really good at just laying down paint and keeping that control.
I mean, yeah, it's this is Splatoon, and this is specifically zones. Just having paint on the ground definitely is a signifier that you're in a really good position, and that you're able to slowly start going into a lockout phase. And oh man, speaking of lockout, welcome to Umami Ruins for Game 2.
Yeah, exactly. Once again, both Tri-Stringers should have a pretty good time here if they're sticking around. Both kits should do well here. There's a lot of ledges to play around, so I think the Carbon will still be quite content to dash around here.
Mm-hmm. Not just the Carbon, but I think also the Stamper here. There's a lot of good spots that you could kind of cheese out with its AoE and also its range slashes here, and I think there are enough vertical things where you can latch onto with Zipcaster, so that's there for Ellie. But also the Decapitator, I think on the other end of is it a pickup or an up pick, if they can get that positioned with it, if they can really just get that decav in a good position here, they can pop their bubble, they can take the dome, and then they can go for that lockout. Jason is still on Inkline, and we're seeing Life switch up from Paintbrush to Dynamo.
Yeah, always very interesting to see. Dynamo definitely able to lay down a lot of turf, will give them that cooler without needing to rely on an end zap, and really good on this stage at maintaining these zones, especially with how small they are. And Global Gauntlet looking to try and find the opportunity to move forward here and take advantage of that Carbon Roller, and it looks like they might have found it.
No, exactly here. Passion is on the gas pedal here, and Willie just gets jumped by the rest of Global Gauntlet 2 Finals at 8 Pacific, and now we're seeing Passion move in. They're able to break Life's ankles right then and there, getting rid of them. Potentially also the splash as the rest of Global Gauntlet 2 is moving in. It is only Indigo left as the rest of is it a pickup or an up pick is respawning, but look at this!
Yeah, I think they're making quite the statement that everyone needs to watch Global Gauntlet Finals at 8 p.m. Pacific time on Friday. And they're making that point very effectively and efficiently. The Zipcaster coming out, keeping Indigo pushed back. 2 players still down as they are just shredding. Is it a pickup or an up pick? An excellent job of showing where to position to really get these lockouts.
Yeah, exactly. Then, not to mention, these chumps also just put more paint on Is It a Pickup or Up Pick spawn. It is in single digits, and I don't think anyone from Is It a Pickup will be able to make it into mid with Jason watching on the dome and everyone else blocking off the entryways. And that is a clean 2-0 set sweep from Global Gauntlet 2 Finals on Friday at 8 Pacific. You know, maybe that sounds like a good idea.
You know, maybe everyone should watch that. Just maybe. But yeah, really great job from them. Very exciting to get to see a team play so well and so cleanly. And I'm very intrigued to see how the rest of this tournament goes.
Yes, exactly. So with round 1 and 2 of groups coming and going, we have 1 round left of groups left here. And with the, what was it, 60? Oh, 60. Okay, so with the 60 teams that have shown up to this week's Swimmer Sync, it is sure to be packed from groups to bracket.
It is, which is always so exciting. I love getting to see what everyone gets up to in these days. I love how much the Splatoon scene has grown since the original Swimmer Sync about 1 million years ago now.
Back in the age of the dinosaurs, we were playing with a roller that didn't have a vertical flick.
Yeah. Well, no, this started in Splatoon 2. They had a vertical flick.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
They had a vertical flick, just barely. It was new still. We were still learning about it.
Yeah.
But it should be very exciting to see how Bleh and If You Clean a Vacuum... Oh, I need to find their full name. If You Clean a Vacuum... Where are they hiding from me? Well, you know, that's what happens if you make your name too long. The commentators can't figure out how to say it. And this is the cost that there is. But it should be interesting to see how they do. And I'm very intrigued to see, if you clean a vacuum, do you become the vacuum cleaner? Interesting. That's sure a name. And it'll be an adventure to see how they do against Bleh. Some classic names today, really. I think I have been left alone on mic, which is always an interesting situation. But we're going to start off on Robo Roman. It's pretty classic. It's pretty standard. I don't think we have any particularly wild things here, probably. Seems like a lot of these players don't have their weapons listed on Sendo, which is very fair. It does make it hard for me to do research, though, which is unfortunate. It seems like there might be a well stringer. That's always an exciting one. Hard to complain about. And it's definitely a stage where things like well stringer and try stringer do really well. It's also a really good E-liter stage. I'd say if there's a Splatling player on Bleth, they'll probably struggle a little into those weapons. It should be an exciting time, and hopefully the players join and get going before too long here. And hopefully somebody's pulling out something wild that I haven't seen in a while. The Eternal Goal. Okay. Yeah. I'm doing so normal being on mic alone. I know how to do that. But yeah, if you clean a vacuum, do you become the vacuum cleaner? This is the question of the century.
It's like the modern day chicken and the egg.
Yes, it really is. It should be, what is your opinion on it, Frostix?
Well, you're the vacuum cleaner, but then you're also cleaning the vacuum cleaner. So I feel like in a vacuum, we are all vacuum cleaners.
I think you're the vacuum cleaner cleaner.
Okay, so you're vacuum cleaner squared.
Yes, I think that's it. Because you're the cleaner for the vacuum cleaner.
Okay, that checks out then, yeah. Okay,
yeah.
Good to know that we can apply good old mathematics to that. I don't take math anymore. I haven't done a math equation in like 4 years.
The last time I did a math class was a decade ago. I have a history degree and a master's in museums. I don't know numbers.
No, yeah, I'm building my way towards a Bachelor of Fine Arts. This is not our forte, apparently. No. Sometimes, this is one of the few times when we have humanities people on mic. This is a win. Oh, yeah.
There's usually computer science people on here.
Yeah, again. Shout out to humanities majors. We mean something, I swear.
We do.
Our degrees of art make sense, I promise.
Yeah. I'm going to go work in museums. People love museums.
That's true, actually. I haven't been to like the ones downtown in a hot minute, but I definitely do want to go back.
Yeah,
Especially
everyone
since
should check out
they're-
their local museums. There's probably weird local museums you don't even know about in your area. Like Frostix, do you know about Toronto's first post office museum?
I think I do, yes.
Oh, unexpected. Not the
I've never
usual
been.
answer.
I've never
Well,
been.
It's pretty fun. I've been there.
I take it that you've also heard about the sneaker museum then?
Oh yeah, the Bata Shoe Museum?
Yes.
Yeah, it's fantastic. If anyone's in Toronto, you should go to the Bata. It's amazing. It's a wonderful experience.
Oh man, I was really hoping we were gonna get a museum in the set so I could like, and there's one now! But there isn't. And
There
if
is
anything,
not.
this is like the big three of zones maps in Splatoon 3, don't you think?
Yeah, I would agree. I'd say that there's still always a world where Mako Mart makes its way back in, but it's a pretty classic list. I can't imagine teams are going to be bad to see it. Robo's always an adventure. Mahi really tests your team's ability to stage lockouts and deal with adapting terrain. And Hagglefish is Hagglefish. There's not a lot to her, but she's trying her best.
Shout out the straightest map in the game that isn't Hammerhead Bridge. And now we're going straight into Robo Ramen. I see Madman, and I will see that well string right then and there because that's what Madman does. And also we're seeing LaFish on Bleh on the Carbon as well.
Yeah, I mean, always interesting to see a Carbon coming out. Very fun. We did just see one, but you can never have too many. They tend to make for a nice, fun show, and we'll have an interesting time pushing in against that well string. Definitely a lot of chip for them to have to contend with.
It is a whole bowl of nachos in vacuum cleaners end here. So we're seeing Sabino, they have their hammer ready to pop. Aki will jump out here, which is definitely going to open the gates for the rest of If You Clean a Vacuum Cleaner to move in. But with this wave breaker as well as the Trizuka picking off Sabino first, and I think the rest of Bleh will use that as a moment of opportunity and flip the zone.
Yeah, Bleh doing an excellent job at taking the opportunity, charging forward. Really great use of the wave breaker there to keep the Carbon from approaching too much, forcing the Splash to back off. The rest of Bleh's comp is genuinely pretty passive. Splash is not the most aggressive weapon. I wouldn't say Snipe Rider or Heavy are either, so they're really relying on that Carbon to break them in.
Definitely so. Like, not just a Carbon, but I think also this crab that Aki is popping right now. I think we saw Sabino trying to move in, but they get shut down. Phantom's able to get rid of Nox the Fish here. I'm not sure if those bombs from the Splash-O-Matic won't do much damage to the zone, as the rest of Bleh are starting to drop like flies, and vacuum cleaners, are they trying to move in? I don't even think they need to move in, but with the pressure between Pencil and Wellstring, it is so much chip. You were right.
It is. It's a lot of chip to play with, especially since all of their numbers line up pretty nicely between the Wellstring, the Snipe Rider, and the Luna. Really makes it hard for a weapon like Carbon to try and break its way past their wall of turf. And now we're seeing the Snipe Rider from Bleh trying to lay down paint, the Crab trying to paint the zone. It's just not quite enough. And If You Clean a Vacuum takes game one of this set.
Not just cleaning the vacuum, but also cleaning this game. That was a knockout on their end, and they didn't even push up that entirely hard. When you have, I think we've already sung their praises far enough, but between Wellstring and Pencil, they can cover a lot of space and pressure, that same space that you are taking.
Yeah, and being able to control that space is really what Zones is all about. It's great if you don't need to take extra risks. You never really want to be positioned in the zone, but all around it is very fair game, and it'll be interesting to see how these teams adapt to Mahi Mahi. Maybe the Carbon will have a little bit of a better time here. Maybe they'll switch the Splash or the Heavy out for something a little more aggressive. I'm very intrigued to see what they do here.
Definitely so, because I think you said in the last game that you said that Bleh was a little bit more passive here. So obviously amp up that aggression from the Carbon, dial up the aggression on the Splash here, because of course it has the ability to kind of move in alongside, of course, being a paint support here. And a little bit more forward positioning from the heavy splatling would help out a lot. If you can probably like positioning it on like the left, it would be very useful.
Yes, it definitely would be. And it'll be interesting to see if they manage to do that, because if you clean a vacuum had such a domineering game there. They were so in control and so in charge that Bled will really have to find a way to force their pace onto the game.
I think that is the case, especially when they're running, like, I think both teams are running 2 backlines here, but really, I think Bled has to kind of like, just like, be a little bit more adaptable. Like you said, force them to play their game instead of trying to conform to whatever Vacuum Cleaner is running. No switch-ups from Vacuum Cleaner, and on the end of Bled, same thing, actually.
Yeah, which is a fair approach. If it's what they feel comfortable with, it's what they feel comfortable with. It just definitely leans a little passive, especially in Splatoon 3, where it's all about really being able to move forward quickly and explode into spaces. But Bled looking to try and move forward now. Lots of ink laid down for the Carbon. The zone initially goes in their favor, but I will say this map isn't entirely real until after that 60-point mark, when you actually get the space to move around.
Exactly. So I feel like if you're Bled, you really need to put down some paint first, get to that 60-point threshold. That way the map will open up for the Carbon here. But you've already got an 18-point penalty to work through. And not to mention that, but Vacuum Cleaners are also cleaning up their points here. The zone will be immediately flipped in Bled's case, but the Carbon has gone down. It's just the painters left here and not a lot of fighters, which means Vacuum Cleaners are going to flip it right back. We are stuck in the 70s, Nox. This map is full of water.
You know, they really just wanted to hear some disco as they got the game going. The Wellstring getting some chip out, but the Zuka coming out, really clearing space for Bled to look to move forward, able to clean it up. The map finally opens up, as we're seeing Lefish getting set up here under left, like you were talking about earlier, and a Zuka ready to go to really try and secure this space.
If they could get a pick onto like Phantom or onto Madman here, that would be ideal, but unfortunately they're going to be forced to shark in the corner, and they're spotted out by either Phantom or I think that's Denji Boy here. Phantom's dropping off. They do have their strikes ready to go, and they are unfazed by the pencil fire, immediately flipping the zone for Vacuum Cleaners, and Aki will pop their crab here. A little bit hesitant at first, but they are able to get rid of Phantom before getting absolutely shredded by Sabino's hammer.
Yeah, Sabino doing an excellent job there with that Ultra Stamp, taking care of the crab. They're already almost through their penalty points. Sabino going to be able to try and really put a lot of pressure over here on this left side, poking at the Snipe Rider, able to force them back, dodging and dancing around their shots. Finally forced to back off, but that's a solid lead from If You Clean a Vacuum.
Yes, exactly. 32 to 45. It's still really close, though, but there's a lot of penalty to work around here. And I think right now, Bled needs to really ensure that they've got the numbers advantage all the time. And already getting rid of Phantom is a solid start. That's no strikes for the moment here. Maybe also get rid of that. Thank you, LaFish. So they've got their Zuka ready to go. They've also got their Crab ready to go. They're ready to fire up on any person that chooses to drop.
Yes, and lead is about to switch again. The Ultra Stamp comes out, manages to take out the splash, looks to find the Carbon, not quite able to. The Snipe Rider and Carbon laying down some turf on the zone. The Heavy now going to be able to paint as the Carbon moves forward, able to find one, looking to find more. Going to have to back off for the moment, though, poking with burst bombs. As Nox just tries to find, as LaFish tries to find something on the left side, not quite able to. But Bled cleans up that game beautifully.
Once again, we're getting another game 3, Nox. Not Nox, LaFish, Nox Raven.
You know, it happens. Sometimes you're 13 and your name is not original when you put it online, and that's okay.
Yeah.
But always exciting to see game 3s. Always happy to see them, especially on something like Zone's Hagglefish, which should be pretty evenly matched for these two teams.
Actually, it is, yeah, because of course, like, this is, I've seen so many casters like have their nicknames. I've seen this being called like the Great Equalizer. I've seen this being called Final Destination. Originally, my bit when I like first started commentating, I'd like, you know, list out the nicknames of Hagglefish Market that like I've heard from people like Topic and Sasu, and then I go like, personally, I call this the straightest map that isn't Hammerhead Bridge. So,
I mean, that's pretty accurate. Can't believe it's here during Pride Month. That's pretty messed up.
Yeah, man.
But it's always exciting to see how teams do on this stage. It can be very back and forth. It never feels like any lead is safe, even on zones. I've seen a lot of overtime comebacks on it. So I'm very interested in seeing which team comes out on top, because I'd say it's a pretty decent stage for both teams' comps. Crab Tank does do particularly well here, so maybe Bleb will find a great way to get set up.
Not only on your tent, but if you can, like, if you can push up the steps, and if you can prop that crab onto the enemy team's tent, that is the lock and the key to victory, right? Like, that's the lock on the enemy team, that's your key to victory.
It really is, and it'll be exciting to see if they're able to pull that off. It's definitely a stage where it can be easy to get momentum rolling and hard to get it back once you lose it. Both the Snipe Riders should be pretty happy here. Heavy Splatling has a lot of corners and angles to play around, and Wellstring will do what Wellstring does.
No, yeah. I mean, like, my team runs a Wellstring. They sit on the tent, and they provide a lot of good chip damage and a lot of good paint support here, and also just, it has the hammer, right? Okay, so it does have the hammer. It's not it's not Seawell, so it does have the hammer to oh yeah, they're running double hammer.
It seems like that is Seawell.
Oh, wow. Why did I not see the custom sticker?
It happens sometimes, but it should be interesting to see. And Wavebreaker is always really nice, especially when you're playing into a carbon, to really keep them under control. You always want to know where they are. Right now, LaFish looking to try and find a way to get through. Not quite able to, but Bleh able to get opening here, taking this first hold. The Crab Tank coming out, but LaFish not able to move forward with it thanks to those triple ink strikes coming out from If You Clean a Vacuum. And now we're seeing a very significant map shift in favor of If You Clean a Vacuum.
Yeah, I think Vacuum Cleaner, they just had to find a way to just wait things out here, specifically waiting out the crab, respecting the space, and then going in with your arsenal here. They went in with the strikes, and then they sent the entire team forward. Sabino has their hammer ready to go. And speaking of crab, here it comes from Aki. I think that hammer was meant for the crab, but it reaches someone else. So it's a 2v2 right now, and the Heavy Splatling will be able to make short work of that zone. Unfortunately, LaFish will not be able to get rid of Phantom, but the rest of Bleh are starting to post up.
Yes, Heavy Splatling always incredible at capping the zone, and If You Clean Vacuums taking advantage of all of that turf to get their players moving forward, but it's not going to quite be enough as Bleh is able to move forward. Aki laying down a lot of paint, looking to get this Crab Tank out sometime soon. Now having to fight the T-Tech, does have to back off, and not going to be able to safely pop Crab for a little bit longer as LaFish tries to move up through the zone and just can't find the path. And it looks like If You Clean a Vacuum should be getting another solid hold in.
Yep, and then already all three of them, like all four of them are moving in. The Wavebreaker has been deployed to likely try and back them off, but that's not going to stop Phantom from getting rid of LaFish. Aki is back with the Crab Tank. Hopefully that can be used to flip them out as it's going to be popped on left side, but it's already being shredded by the pencil on If You Clean a Vacuum. Denji Boy trying to find their way in. They are marked by the point sensor here, as well as the Wavebreaker here. It's a lot of reveals coming out, and here comes the hammer from Sabino, able to get rid of, I think, the carbon here. Aki's trying to move in. They go down as well, and If You Clean a Vacuum is now in the single digits. Here comes a Zuka from LaFish, but I don't think a Zuka will be in the weight, but the rest of the paint from Bleh will put the zone into neutral, but that's a wipeout!
The wipeout secures the game for If You Clean a Vacuum. Do you become the vacuum cleaner? Able to clean up this set, taking round 3, and very exciting in the process.
I think what happened was that it was obviously a very dire situation, and I think three members, aside from Aki, who was popping the crab, everyone else from Bleh was on their tent, and Sabino was just Sabino just really lined them all up here. They just blew them all up. I think that was a triple because they all went down at the same time when the knockout happened.
Yeah, it was a really great job. Very exciting to see. And it'll be interesting to see how all of the brackets shake out over the course of the rest of the night.
Exactly. Group stage has now concluded. We're done with pools, and we finally see the pool for once here. So here's Group O, the group all the way on the bottom of the page.
There were quite a few teams today. Always exciting to see 63 teams turn out for SOS. There's no longer a team cap. So you never are shut out from signing up until deadlines pass these days.
I know.
You used to have to fight for your spot.
Yeah, it was like a 32 cap in the past, if I remember correctly. Man, and now we're 60. I think it was 64 at some point. But 60, that's big.
Yeah, and there have been even bigger ones in the past. So SOS, always a great time, always an exciting time to spend with your team, and very interesting to see how different teams go about it.
Definitely so here. I think like Group O not only is there If You Clean a Vacuum and Bleh, but Los, Inklings, and Ficklefishes, like we're in this group as well. Those two names are, I think, ones that I recognize a lot more. I've seen their runs in past Swimmer Sinks specifically, I will say.
Yeah, I mean, you'll see a lot of the same teams or a lot of very similar pickups showing up week after week, getting in their practice, doing their reps. And that's one of the things that SOS is so incredible for. Just really building up that time and practice in tournaments, since you are guaranteed so much gameplay.
Not just guaranteed gameplay, but guaranteed a bracket at the end of pools here. And these brackets are packed.
Yes, they are. And I'm so excited to see how all of the teams do in them. Obviously, it's always most exciting to watch the top bracket, but they're all equally important to keep an eye on.
Exactly. Each and every one of the brackets are like their own kind of end game tournament, depending on your div, I'd say. So that's the end of groups here. Brackets I take it that brackets are still being finalized as we're waiting for groups to finish up and for a couple more sets to finish. So don't go anywhere. Swimmer Sink 228 will be back in a bit with the Great White Bracket.
I'm watching left guy.
Hey, jump.
They're jumping the
Now we're back to a fight for the zone. Both of these teams are around, but two down on to PXG, but grab tank.
Dead! Zone, ping! Oh, catch it! Oh.
No, dude, don't do this. Come on, kill.
Nice.
Strike!
Listen. Listen. Drop.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Swim or Sink. We are going to be getting right into Great White Bracket here. I'm Nox, and I'm joined here by Frostix. What are you thinking about?
It's really hot in my room all of a sudden. I don't know why, so I had to turn on the fan. But fans can crew up quite an electrical bill, and we got the bill collectors versus Magnolia in our first round of Great White. The bracket is real, and the stakes have been raised.
And it's always so exciting to get into this. We're going to be starting on Robo-Roman Splat Zones, a classic. And I do believe that we might see a splatling of some form coming out from Vizzy of bill collectors. I always get my hopes up thinking it could be a mini. It seems like there's a lot of mini that Vizzy has played, but hard to guarantee that in this day and age with how good heavy splatling is.
And on the side of Magnolia, we're seeing Junior. I see Team Master, I see Junior, but also Parachu is here. And okay, it's weird that I'm saying this again, but I ran into Parachu in Open today actually. So we're also seeing Parachu on Pencil most likely.
Yeah, I mean, Pencil and Junior, definitely some classics. Junior, less of a go-to these days, but always really great at holding space. And I can see it doing really well on Robo-Roman or even Urchin Underpass, which is going to be our second map of this set for whenever we get to that.
Ooh.
And obviously, it's hard to complain about a Snipe Rider on any stage.
Yeah, it gives you the paint, it gives you the chip, it gives you the cooler, and you really know, you just know why it would have an iron grip on the weapon selection in
Less
the
than
last
it
2
used to.
years. Back in its prime.
Yes, and luckily it is no longer at its peak. More things get to come out and see the light of day. I love seeing all the different anchors we do these days. Like, we've seen Wellstring today, we've seen 2 different Tri-Stringer kits, we've seen E-Leader, we've seen Snipe Rider, of course, we've seen Heavy Splatling, and it's just so exciting to get to see so many different anchors seeing play when there were periods in Splatoon 2 when we didn't see any, and periods of Splatoon 3 where we only saw 1.
I mean, yeah, I think, ever since the resurgence of Heavy Splatling and Leader, and, even now, I think we're seeing, a little bit of a bow as well, and someone is missing.
It's you can't go a full Splatoon tournament without one of these. It wouldn't be Splatoon otherwise. But the room will get reestablished real quick here. Whoever is missing will join back, and hopefully we don't have any more blips like that tonight.
Surely not in bracket.
There's always the chance.
I just said that the stakes are raised.
And they are.
That's true.
But Splatoon's connection does not care about that.
Unfortunately, that is the case. Connection doesn't care about your stakes, whether or not it's medium, rare, or well done. So, or if the stakes are just, that you have the potential of being eliminated. So, you were right about how Vizzy's bringing out a mini, specifically Zimmy.
Zimmy's always a really exciting one. That big bubbler is super useful, especially if you know you're going to be playing into another team with one. I also really like Toxic Mist on this stage in particular because there are so many narrow passages that people want to try and push through.
I mean, yeah, using the mist on elbow, on that choke, just going out into mid where you see Brave and Parachu and Dripsy. If you can miss that off here, it will be a really hard time breaking out of it. And already, Team Master will be the first one down, and Parachu will drop the sodas for the rest of bill collectors here. Vizzy will pop a bubble here, and we'll also get rid of Dripsy here. We're also seeing Zog. I think Zog's there as well. Same thing with, I think, the bucket here. We're seeing Throw, and I think that this could be a pick onto Parachu if they're lined up correctly, but not just yet.
Almost finding that pick, not quite able to land it. Brave looking to move forward on that Splash-O-Matic, not finding the space they need, and the triple Ink Strike's gonna force all of Magnolia really far back. Dripsy playing a weapon we don't see much in this day and age. The Neo Machine, definitely an exciting one with that Zuka coming out, trying to find space.
Yes. It also just have the point sensor, which is something that Custom Blaster makes good use of here, but it also is good for a weapon that lurks just under the craziest ledges, a weapon like Machine, which will immediately get picked off by Throw here, and wow, that is a knockout.
It is. Bill collectors came in, got the zone, and said, we're cleaning this up. They're overdue. Their bills were overdue. They needed to be collected.
and they sweep up that. They sweep up Roboramen here, and they collect their dues. So that's game one, and Roboramen is all set in stone, and Zog is not meditating. So.
Urchin is always an interesting one. We might see a little bit of comp changes here. Always a chance of it with how back and forth it can be. Definitely always a chance to see those longer range weapons fade away here.
I mean, yeah. I mean, like, we did see on both Bill Collectors and Magnolia, they were both bringing out a pencil here, because I think, what was that? I think that was like, I'm not sure if it was Santo or Fizne on the pencil on Bill Collectors, and we saw Parachu on the pencil as well. But then when you're on a map in which kind of everyone is kind of moving whenever, like, depending on who gets the zone, because I feel like a lot of zones, Urchin maps kind of just end up with, oh, we have the zone now, let's take their court.
Yeah, I mean, it's very effective. It does a great job. And especially if you're running shorter range weapons, it allows you to play really fast, really aggressively, and really flexibly, which Urchin Underpass heavily rewards. So it'll be exciting to see what adaptations Magnolia chooses to make, if any, and what adaptations Bill Collectors choose to make, if any. And also, if Bill Collectors will just get another clean 100-0 like that, that was pretty impressive.
Definitely so. If they're just able to stand their ground and ensure that no one is on that right flank here, or if no one is able to just break free, I mean, like, they were making really good use of the map geometry on Roboramen here. They were actively ensuring that they could sniff out flanks on the bottom layers, and also ensuring that the elbow choke is just completely toxic misted up.
Yeah, and I mean, Big Bubbler, with how tiny Urchin's zone is, definitely really can help here. It is about the size of a postage stamp, so pretty much anything will cap it if it looks at it for even half a second.
It does indeed. I think also, like, one thing I guess one thing that I've appreciated a bit more about Urchin, I think now that I've played it a lot more and haven't really played it a lot back in 1, is just how interesting opens can get. Really, just people can come in from anywhere, and you really have to watch out. It's almost like a game of it's like a MOBA, a 3-lane MOBA, and what's that about?
What is that about? I say as one of my computer monitors has stopped working at the worst possible timing.
Oh, well,
okay, but there's a DC, so it's fine. I can fix it.
Not only I think in their end, but also on yours. I'm not like, was that Justin, or was that like one of the was that from us, or was that from anyone on their end?
I don't know, but my monitor's working again.
Nice.
Yeah, we'll find out. I'll check our little chat that we can look at. It seems
You have a sad
like,
seal gift.
Yes, it seems like there's a sad seal gift that's unrelated. Probably just another DC. I think if it happened in lobby, there is a replay still, but I am never sure of anything.
It was everyone, apparently. Everyone.
Everyone. So that's a lobby problem.
Whoa.
Which that is a replay, I want to say.
Yeah.
But I have not refreshed myself on the DC rules in a minute, and I will own that.
I'm pretty sure this is a replay, because we didn't even get to touch the ground.
Yeah.
We saw player tag. We saw splash tags.
Yeah,
No
we'd be
one
within the
saw that.
Nintendo replay, the 6-second replay rules of Nintendo still.
Oh, that's fair.
Is it?
I have not. I am honestly more familiar with at least Sendo's and, like, I guess, like, inter-org replay rules.
Yeah,
and
no,
not Sendo's.
I mostly am making it's a 6-second rule is a little silly to me. I know what the base rules are. It's just every tournament says them a little different.
Yeah,
And that's the fun of it.
That's fair. I remember, I think the last time I was on mic, there was a game in which they did a replay. I think maybe a little bit, like, there was a DC and then they did replay it. But the DC was, I think, like, halfway through the game, and I was
Halfway is where it gets real complicated.
Halfway is where it gets real complicated, and that was also within, like, grand finals, I think.
Oh, classic. That's the Splatoon experience.
At
least they didn't all have to go to bed. Could be worse.
That's fair, yeah. I mean, actually, no, it was it was an EU tournament, and I think everyone there was. It may have been midnight on their end, evening for me.
Yeah, I know that feeling very well. It's always an adventure. And once, like we said earlier, Connection doesn't care what you're doing in Splatoon. It'll find a way to show its face. But we're going to get into it here. Should be interesting to see how it goes. Tri-Slosher coming out, switching over to that heavy Splatling. And I do like that Tri-Stringer choice coming out from Parachu. Definitely a good stage for it. Mm-hmm. It should be interesting to see how these two teams face into each other here.
I think the chumps will lean really well for the rest of Magnolia, for the rest of Magnolia, whether or not it's Brave or T-Master or Dripsy here. They're going to be making good use of those chumps when Parachu is going to be dropping them in. And already Magnolia will take first point, but the zone immediately goes into neutral. I think that's a bubble from T-Master here, trying to establish some more space for Magnolia. They are able to get rid of the try on Bill Collectors, so that's no sodas. Okay, the soda's right there. So there's no try for the moment. But now Brave is going down on Magnolia. The zone is in Bill Collector's end here as the tempo of the match is starting to switch up.
Yeah, tempo of the match switching up. Bill Collector's looking to really find a way to sink their teeth into this zone. The heavy Splatling trying to take this off angle, able to stay alive as the Junior was trying to pull some shenanigans. Not quite able to, though. But Bill Collectors is still stuck really far back. These triple ink strikes should break him in.
That they do. And I think Zog's trying to at least stay a little bit hidden from the rest of these bombs and the rest of these chumps. They're now backing up to the rest of their team because they have a splashdown ready to rip. Will they be moving in? Probably not, because of the wave breaker and also just the immense amount of bombs that are more than likely coming out from T-Master, and probably also Dripsy, I think, because I think that has a fizzy. But here comes the triple splashdown from Zog, able to get rid of T-Master, and will signal the rest of Bill Collectors to move in, but no, they suffer 2 members down here. Zone is in neutral. Bill Collectors is able to cap the zone for just a little bit.
I mean, every penalty point you apply makes your job a little bit easier. Heavy Splatling is so good at just being able to continuously lay down ink, lay down turf, and getting that cap was pretty useful, but they need to find a way to do more than that. They're going to try and rush in with these triple ink strikes yet again, but they just aren't really moving forward with them, and they're so bunched up on top of each other that every splat bomb, every fizzy bomb really is getting in their way. It almost feels like they need to send people in from more angles.
They definitely do. I think we're seeing Zog and I think also Dripsy move in. We're seeing I think Zog and I think Brave moving in from the same left side here, which means I was gonna say T-Master is gonna be able to survive and try and make out some more space, but we're seeing Vizzy as well as Zog just move in unison. Unfortunately, Zog is going to be going down. We're seeing the Heavy trying to take some space as well. They're getting rid of Parachu here. They're being threatened by Brave under the ledge, but the damage has been dealt to Nox, and they're able to get the lead.
Yeah, they have managed to get that lead. Not a ton more for them to do as the Junior manages to take out Zog. But the Heavy Splatling, once again, able to just continue laying down that turf, able to continue claiming these spaces. It's still being very up and in their face. Not often that you need to feel so worried about a Heavy Splatling finally forced to jump out, but Vizzy able to use this Tri-Slosher Nouveau to claim these spaces using fizzy bombs to really lay down some extra turf, keeping Bill Collectors in the zone even longer.
Yeah, they have gone through so much within, I think, those last couple of seconds, but they stay for a little bit longer, working through their penalty. They're 25 penalty and 55 points total, but I think Magnolia will be able to take that back right then and there. 2 people marked right now. Vision is just something that's really important with just how much point sensor and wave breaker we see, and at this point, Magnolia has at least some information on when they're moving in. Zog's gonna be popping the splashdown, immediately flipping the zone here. Bill Collectors has a sizable penalty to work through here, and especially when they're being threatened with more paint, the zone is still in neutral. Bill Collectors is able to at least keep that in their color, and they are almost out of the penalty here. We're seeing them get rid of Brave on the flank. That's a very key move to make, and they have the tri-strikes ready to go, which could be good at holding the zone when Magnolia starts to retake.
Yes, Magnolia has managed to retake now. Trip Strike's coming out, going to be able to shred that big bubbler, forcing the Junior back, allowing them to get this zone back under control. Super Chumps come out. They have weapons that can deal with that pretty easily. And the Tri-Slosher goes in for the flank, finds one, finds another. Just Parachu left up, getting chased down by the Slosher, able to force them very far back, but smartly decides not to chase them any further, as it looks like zone is going to be in Bill Collector's favor.
And it's smart for Santo to not go for Parachu right then and there, because I think they're halfway to strikes here. And in this moment, you really want to have your zone flipping specials primed and ready to go, because boom, here come the chumps from Parachu. Brave is unfortunately going down to Zog, who is then going down to Dripsy as the zone has been flipped by Magnolia here. They have a lot of work to do right now, because they need to clear around 15 points worth of penalty, and then they need to go through around maybe like 25 points of their actual points limit. We're seeing Dripsy, they have the Zuka ready to go. They're firing off on the top right, not claiming any targets. There's one shot left in the chamber. Not going to get rid of Zog here. There's 2 members down on Magnolia. The zone is in neutral, and here comes the strikes from Santo. Able to clean that up before things get nasty. That's
Yes.
a 2-0. Yeah.
Really great 2-0. Incredible job there. Great use of specials at the end and just going, we know this is a postage stamp. We just need the triple ink strikes. We don't need to complicate it. We don't need to throw our bodies on it and risk losing it that way. Just saw some triple ink strikes.
I mean, they are. It's been one of it's ink strike being changed to like a 3 to being like to being a 3-hit kind of thing here. Kind of really brought some new life into the classic Splatoon 1 special, I'd say.
Absolutely, and they do a great job of helping in terms of finalizing games. There's something that we might refer to as a GG special. They do a good job of securing the game and just really making sure it ends the way that you want it to.
Exactly. It's just so it's a last call type special. So that is round 1 of Great White, and unfortunately with Magnolia not being able to make overtime work, they are out. That's the end of their Swimmer Sync journey. As Bill Collectors is moving on, they're going up against Shibuya in Great White round 2. But Nox, it's not just Magnolia's end as well, it's ours too. We gotta go.
It is. And where can they find you, Frostix?
Of course, you guys can find me at Twitter at TK_Frostix, on Blue Sky at Frostix.bluesky.social, and my YouTube channel, Frostix. There's some things on the horizon. Can't say when they're coming out, but Nox, where can the good people of Twitch chat find you?
Yeah, you can find me on Blue Sky, YouTube, and Twitch at NoxRaven42. And stay tuned. It should be an exciting rest of Great White.
Hello, gamers, and welcome back to IPL Swim or Sink number 228. All zones today, baby. I am Cater, joined here today by Drumar. How are you feeling?
I'm doing really good. We are getting to our Great White segment of this tournament, going to find out who is going to win tonight. I'm so excited to start it off with our technical quarterfinals match between two teams, Swarm and Tilines. I'm pretty sure we went over pronouncing that
Yes,
name,
Tilines.
Okay.
Is Spanish slang for stuff.
We spent like 30 seconds to be like, how do you pronounce this? How do you pronounce this? Tilines.
Well, thank you for telling us, Tilines, so that we don't mess it up for a whole set. We appreciate you.
Thank you. We appreciate it.
But yeah, we are in for an all zones night, which of course, if you had seen the first half of our stream, you would know that it is all zones all night. Taking a look at the specific zones maps that we have for this best of 3 set here. We are going to start it off strong on Mahi Mahi Resort, then go to Mako Mart, both classics by now, and then if we go to our game 3, because this is a best of 3 set, we'll finish it out on Crab Leg Capital, which is, I would say, maybe a little less common of a zones pick, but I've definitely seen it before.
Yeah, you typically see the crab leg on, I think clams is probably the most common, or maybe
Yeah.
Rainmaker, I would say. You're never going to see
Maybe.
zones. You're never going to see TC, because it's just going to be, unless you're doing a gimmick tournament. But zones, every now and again, it will just pop its head up, be like, hi, I exist, hello, here I am. But yeah, you don't see it that common. Really excited to see if we actually get to that. But starting off on Mahi, good old Mahi.
Good old Mahi indeed. As I like to say, it really becomes a real map after you get past that 61 benchmark. Before that, it just kind of feels like, well, it's very small, it's very narrow. Oh, I love the coordinated splash tags here coming out from Swarm. That's very fun. I love the team tags as well. All right, yellow to match. Oh, heavy splatling! We are off to a great start for me personally. I love that weapon. Great choice there. Paired with the pencil as well. So that comp is going to be putting out a lot of paint. And then on the side of Tilines, we have definitely a lot less on the range side there. We do have a blaster, but that's pretty much the longest range weapon on that, and that is going to be a very quick wipeout to start this game strong in favor of Swarm, doing pretty much exactly that as they are taking this opportunity to move up front, right in the front of this zone. Killer whales are at the ready. And cooler there too, yeah.
Yes, Swarm definitely going for a more long-range approach. Tilines, their longest range pretty much is, I think, a 52 gal or a zap. Not a lot of range going there. They pop the bubble, trying to get a little bit of paint on the zone. Not going to be able to flip it yet, but it looks like they're probably going to be able to eventually, giving Swarm some penalty points. And we do see the 52 trying to make a push onto the enemy plat.
Yeah, splash roll of their own gets countered with one from the enemy team, though, and they're forced to back off. They are able to get the cooler. We do have Bonk here on the Comet's Octobrush with that Kraken. That can be a devastating special if used right, but right now they are waiting. They're kind of just watching and waiting for Swarm to come down. There is the Kraken coming out there. Does get one pick. Very nice there, or at least assisting in one. We see the triple splashdown come down onto the zone, as well as that wave breaker for Swarm, ending in one pick on that Comet's Octobrush. It looks like another one, perhaps a second. No, 2 down on both sides instead, and this zone is actually very contested right now, though Swarm is able to get it. We do see, yes, we see Lewis gonna jump in here trying to contest this zone, which is still in the neutral state and has been for quite a while now. Has the big bubbler, but it is just going to flip back to Swarm again. They are slowly chipping away at that penalty.
Yeah, Tilines does have a slight lead, only by 2 points, but it looks like Swarm is going to be able to get the lead back in their favor. Kraken popped by Bonk right there, seeing if they can get any picks or displacement on the enemy team, and it looks like it's going to die out without anything. Cooler is popped for the side of Tilines, but Swarm is just diluting that penalty points as much as they can, getting all the way into the 30s, as well as getting 2 down on the side of Tilines. So Swarm is going to be taking a man advantage and taking the zone, getting all the way down, very close to 15 points left. They could very well be taking this game in the next few seconds.
We could see a runaway, but Tilines is trying to prevent that with everything. They have the triple splashdown though, but right before that, the zone did flip. So we do see a pretty hefty 55-point penalty, and the very edge of that Kraken clipping for a pick onto Helix there. We do see Swarm though pretty much just take back that zone by storm. Even though Tilines had a good breakout, they ended up falling into a 3-down position, and now they're basically back to square one where we were before, with this 52 gal all the way on the right side here. Lewis on the blaster using the area of effect to try and get something done here, but it is really difficult when 2 of your teammates go down. They have the big bubbler, but with that and the Kraken from the Octobrush, it's unfortunately just not enough, and that zone is going to knock out and go to Swarm.
Yeah, Tilines did have an opportunity there. It did seem like a lot of them, all 4 of them were on their plat with a lot of specials together. They had the opportunity to maybe like manage those specials well and play together around each other, maybe get a pick or two, but it just did not work out.
I love those coordinated winning emotes from the team as well. Very fun to see when a team does that. All right, with our first game done, we are going to head to Mako Mart. Now, reflecting on that last game that we saw, it felt pretty in favor of Swarm for most of the time. We had good breakouts from Tilines, but it felt like they weren't really able to hold their ground. I think part of that was just the sheer amount of paint that a comp like that, when you have Pen and Heavy, puts out, combined with the range that you don't have on a more shorter range aggressive comp like Tilines is bringing to the table.
Yeah, I feel like range is definitely gonna be the deciding factor between this match. I feel like we're in a pretty like ranged meta. Like, you got some, of course, Heavy is pretty popular right now. We have Chargers with Inkvac, I think I've seen a few times. Pencil,
yeah.
Bill, of course, Pencil. So I think range is definitely going to be the deciding factor in this match, and especially going on to Mako. I don't know. I'm trying to form a thought on how I think Tilines is going to be able to break out through this. I think maybe switching to a bit more of a defensive cooler option could be the play, but we'll just have to see what they decide to do.
Be kind of interesting to maybe see like Claws 96 if they want to still go for like a shooter that has, but give them a little bit more range. And hey, I mean, Double Gal, I don't know, maybe giving up a little bit more paint than the Zap, though it might not be great into this comp. Also, I thought you were just going to stop after you said struggling to form a thought, and I was going to be like, yeah, me too, man. It's been kind of a long day for me. We are going to see the same paint heavy comp. Ooh, bringing out a Dynamo here. So that is the cooler option. Bonk switching from the Octobrush to the Dynamo. Very flexible player there, and then Pinksider going on to that splatter shot. So definitely more paint coming out here. The Dynamo, I do worry about it being a relatively slower weapon if it is going to be lasered out by the Splatling and the Pencil, but it remains to be seen. So far, it does seem to be working out in their favor as Tilines gets the first pick, and we see the Inkzuka come out from here, though they do go down to the Pencil, and then Swarm pops the Wave Breaker and takes back that zone. Gets the 52 gal on the zone here, the lead, small though it is, and has the whales at the ready as well. They are in a really nice position to further this lead.
Yeah, it's great. With those whales, it's going to get a jump out, beautiful jump out to their Heavy right there. Swarm does have pretty good manageable control over the zone, going through the 60s, getting some picks on the enemy plat as well. Just being able to stagger the members of Tilines as enough to the point where they're not able to form a push yet, and they're just taking this by storm. We see the 52 in the corner trying to make a push for themselves. Looks like so far they might be able to. They're gonna lose their zone, but it's gonna get flipped right back. But 2 are down on the side of Swarm. This could be Tilines' time to mount a push of their own.
Yeah, with the bubbler from Lewis here and the cooler following close behind. That is a nice take back of the zone. They lose the splatter shot and the gal though, so it is just up to the Dynamo, who is getting everything in the kitchen sink thrown at them under the assault of multiple whales mid-flick. Unfortunately, they stand no chance, and so that zone is right back to Swarm, laying down the paint, getting the cooler out. We see the Dynamo trying to do something in the corner there. Lewis drops and gets called out by the Splatling. Dynamo going down in that lower right right-hand corner there, so they don't have that pressure anymore. But Pinksider on that shot is trying to single-handedly come back and cap the zone, but 1 against 3 is not going to work out. They pop the Zuka, but go down before they can get any of the shots off, and that penalty is almost in the single digits. Oh, is that an autobomb pick that we might have seen there, or something similar getting caught?
Right before, yeah.
Yeah, it would have been very funny if it was, but getting caught in the ink nonetheless. We're seeing this way from the pencil, calling for defense as a Zuka shot arcs in towards them, and finally, zone goes back to Tilines.
Yeah, Swarm did get a pretty manageable size lead here, getting only 17 points remaining, but they do have a big chunk of penalty they're going to have to push through. The backline's just being able to just put so much pain on the ground so quickly, and the heavy even being able to play offensively sometimes, getting a pick right there and getting hope for a second. It's just such a monstrous weapon, puts down so much pain. It's able to take so much positioning, such different positioning than a pencil would, and it's just a monster to deal with, especially if they decide to play a bit more aggro.
Yeah, we have 2 specials coming out here for Tilines right now as they're making their last-ditch push towards the zone. Make that 3, but Luz gets sniped right in the bubble. The zone does get neutralized, and we have the Dynamo jumping into that bubble.
Oh.
This could be the play that they need to get this zone back, but they run out of ink just a little bit too soon. Does get the pick on Trey there, but the zone still does not flip to them, painting like their lives depend on it, and finally, zone flipping again. They just managing to hang on by the skin of their teeth and coming in with a couple of picks as well. Pinksider with the Zuka. The shots, unfortunately, not finding their mark, but that was 2 down on the side of Swarm, and Tilines is taking this opportunity by storm. The Gal taking his very, very aggressive position, unfortunately forced to back up because the first person that they are interacting with is that pencil.
Yeah, just so much fighting in that corner right there. Lewis is going to have to go back up to the plat. Just the whales just locking on so much, just putting so much pressure, having to have them back up. Swarm trying to mount a push to their own. Bonk is out of ink. They're going to have to regroup and maybe get some specials going, but they still do have control of the zone for the time being. If Swarm is able to mount a push to their own, though, they can definitely take this lead back for themselves.
Yeah, with the sheer amount of paint that Swarm could put out in a very fast amount of time, I wouldn't be surprised seeing it work, especially with the triple splashdown that they have. But it remains to be seen as Tilines is almost done with their penalty. Lewis jumping back in with the bubbler. Oh, puts it right on there, but gets taken out by the splashdown. And I think that clipped at a couple other members because that was 3 down for a second there on Tilines. And so Swarm is in a great position once again, just immediately, like, you can see all of the hard work of Tilines being erased so quickly and turning all into yellow ink. Helix putting out the wave breaker as we head into the last 20 seconds. Another Inkzuka coming out from Pinksider, but will it be enough? That is 2 down the side of Tilines. The Heavy forced to back up onto this stack here, but takes out the Gal. That is a full wipeout in the last 10 seconds, and we will see a second knockout.
Swarm able to play around each other very well in those last few seconds, getting that wipeout to secure the win, and they will be moving on to semis in Great White.
Semis indeed. Man, it feels like we just got here and already this bracket is going so fast, but that is the beauty of Swim or Sink. Again, those, synced up team emotes there. But yeah, here is our Great White bracket. So we just finished our set here. Looks like Swarm will be going to face Cebuya in their semi-set, and then our other set that we are going to be looking on is Pathway versus the winners of A's versus Super Critical, which is 1-0 right now. So hope to see how that match plays out. Before then, I believe we are going to take just a short break, wait for that to finish up, and we will set up for the next one. So stay tuned, we've got more Great White action for you, but until then, we'll be back in just a couple of minutes. Hello, gamers, and welcome back to Swim or Sink number 228, hosted here at IPL. If you're just joining us, we are in for a wonderful night of all zones today, baby. I am Kater, joined here today by Drumar. We are in our Great White semifinals, best of 5 here. We are about to see Pathway versus Ace.
Yeah, and both of these teams are coming off of, I believe, 2-0s in their last set. Yeah, Pathway was able to 2-0 Shiny Whimsicott. Rest in peace, Shiny Whimsicott. We love Whimsicott. And
we do
Ace was able to come off a 2-0 against Super Critical. So both of these teams fighting for a spot in our grand final set. Who will be the one to take it off? But first, on game 1, we're going to be going to Museum.
Yeah, Museum, you have some thoughts on this one, huh?
I had some thoughts that I
were talking
said
about
to you, and like, this is a map.
Yeah, it's a map in the game Splatoon 3 that we play. I don't like playing Rainmaker here. I'm just gonna say I agree with you on this one. Too many cheese spots. It's just you play it somewhere else.
Yeah, the good news, Kater, though, we're not playing Rainmaker today. It's
So
all zones
true.
all night. So we're gonna be able to get straight into it.
Yeah,
We're
these
gonna
teams
see
know
what
what
these
they
tops.
want. All right.
Splash Gaming.
Splash
It's
Gaming.
a good night for me.
Ooh, Junior Gaming. Okay. And we've got
Really?
pulling out the Tetras as well, with, of course, the classic double mains of quick respawn there. No surprises there. And then on Pathway, they're bringing, honestly, pretty regular comp, all things considered. You got the Pencil, Stamper, Splash, and, of course, Miner and the Slosher. Absolutely no surprises there.
Is it 2023?
Hello! We are starting off things off strong with Booby getting a nice double on this Crab. Splash Gaming, just like you said. Miners over here holding down this left side, making sure nobody decides to take this sneaky drop, while we have Spec on this Platana Stamper taking a very nice aggressive position, as Stampers are wont to do. Meanwhile, holding down the fort with that Pencil there. We are past 50 already for Pathway, and it's been 45 seconds as Ace is trying to get their footing back onto the zone. It has a triple splashdowns here. Goes down to the middle of it though, and the zone is neutralized. It does look like the namesake Junior is able to come back and get the rest of that painted.
Yeah, popping that Crab in the corner is going to get shredded pretty quickly. They are able to distract, though, be able to get that pick from that teammate. Nicely done there. A whole bunch of fighting in sort of around mid. The Stamper trying to get a pick on the Pencil, almost got it, and they are able to finally get it. Trying to get a pick on the Blaster, not going to be able to either, though. And Booby with the Splash trying to see if they can get one. Get one, pops Aura, and it dies, unfortunately. Whole bunch of just complete trades going on at that play. Completely empty now. And we do see Spec. Yeah, Spec with the Zipcaster ready, locked, and loaded on the enemy plat.
But trades are wins for Pathway, as they are in a great winning position right here, although it might change very quickly as, oh, that is a double from the Zipcaster there, but the zone is purple, and so while Spec's back was turned and dealing with the plat, someone on Eyes, which, apologies for the mispronunciation, thank you for informing us it is pronounced Eyes, got through in the back line here. Illu with the Tetris has that Reef Slider ready if anybody dares approach them, but that zone is yellow again. I think they're just waiting for some unsuspecting prey to come this way, but everyone is occupied once again on this plat as Myra gets another splat using the Arc of the Slosher and then has to flee from the Junior, but does not do so in time, and Eyes again the one to do zone cleanup.
Yeah, we do see Uni dropping in, seeing if they get a pick, getting one, and seeing if they can get a splash, gets a second, and Eyes is able to take control of the zone, seeing if they can keep it any longer. Going through their 70s, they did give Pathway a pretty big 40-point penalty, so they're just going to hold on as long as they can, try to chip down their points of their own, see if they can mount a comeback here. And they are doing pretty well, just holding the members of Pathway back onto their plat. We do see a Crab up there from Boopy, able to get a whole bunch of paint down, but the Splat Bomb not going to be able to get the pick there. I really thought that was going to be a pick, but
Yeah,
no.
No, indeed. Illusion caught in the corner, but able to eke out a trade onto Boopy while Miner makes it out of that situation alive. Drops just as this zone flips and is now caught in a little bit of a difficult corner. Decides to jump out and does make it out. That is a good jump out there. But meanwhile, that penalty is completely gone and Eyes is blazing through to take the lead here with 15 points remaining and that big bubbler there. The triple strikes, though, not even neutralizing that zone. There is 2 down on Eyes right now, but is it enough? The zone does get neutralized, but that Junior is still here, and Boopy is stuck in the crab. Gonna just try and run the Junior over, and it is enough for Pathway to come back and take that zone with just 2 remaining for Eyes. Now they have to deal with a 71-point penalty.
A whole bunch of penalty on both these teams. Both these teams getting such big pops, and Spec not gonna be able to get that jump there, and the goal gonna jump out of the triple splashdown.
Oh, I did not think they were going to make that, but I guess that's what running however many subs of a quick super jump gets you on your gear. This is why abilities and gear builds are important, guys. Study up, go and look at what other people are running. But okay, so I was too busy rambling about gear builds, and Pathway ran away with the rest of the game, where they went through the rest of their penalty points, and despite the reef slider from Illusion, unfortunately that was not enough to come back and take the zone. But a very close game there. I mean, 2 to knockout, nothing to scoff at.
This definitely seems like a match that could potentially go to a Game 4, maybe even a Game 5. Both these teams neck and neck with each other, but Pathway able to barely inch it out as they are going to take Game 1. And going over to Game 2, we have, personally, my favorite map mode in the game, or my favorite map in the game. We got Umami Ruins.
This is great.
Yay!
This is great. Umami Zones is great. I love it here. I'm thriving. It's great. I don't really like the lockouts in here. I feel like it's a little bit too easy for that to happen. But otherwise,
Yeah.
I love me a double zone map. That is honestly probably my soft spot for zones maps as far as things go. It's why I love Camp Triggerfish. It's why I unfortunately kind of like Manta zones. It's why I like it here. There's something about double zone maps that I really love. It makes you play a little different. You gotta split your attention. You gotta make sure you're not just playing a constant game of painting the pole pink and then blue, going around and around.
Yeah, definitely. You definitely have to split your attention here a lot more. And on top of that, I love the aesthetic of Umami, honestly.
Really?
Yeah.
I can see why you would like it. I guess I just don't hear people talk about it a lot.
I don't know.
But it does look great.
I just like the map.
Awesome.
We're gonna go just straight into it. Okay.
Yeah, look at all those details, guys. It's really cool. I love, honestly, the aesthetic design of this game is on point. But the gameplay now is what we are here for. And I don't see any changes. I believe we've got exactly what we had before.
Yeah, both teams just trying to stick with what they know. They're gonna see how this decides to go with our double zones map. Gonna have to play a little bit different, and the Flapper's gonna be immediately picked off there on the member of Eyes. And it looks like Pathway is taking a little bit of advantage, but no, maybe not. Both these teams only have one zone, so who knows who's gonna take the first point for this game.
Definitely felt like Pathway came out swinging a little bit more with Eyes losing a member, but it is actually going to be Eyes with the first take here, or the first take of the zones here, forcing the members of Pathway pretty far back. And but we do see Spec in the Zipcaster does get 1 pick, but there's 3 down on the members of Eyes with that pencil having to back up all the way, being the last one left. And so Pathway's going to take this opportunity, puts the cooler out as well. Nice timing from Zekrom there, and going to bring this match forward. Of course, Eyes respawns fast enough that Pathway isn't completely running away and getting a whole lockout situation there. They do take the lead and get the triple ink strikes out, which is a lot of displacement for them, but losing Spec on that Stamper means that Eyes has room for Illusion to come in here, do a lot of distraction, and very quickly jump out. There is a lot of great coordinated teamwork going down here. Even though Illusion goes down, Uni is still here to come and back them up, force the 2 jumps from there.
Yeah, Eyes able to take the lead back barely. We do see Eyes with that bubble. It's gonna get shredded, unfortunately. They might have to back up a little bit with that Junior as well as Boopy's Crab. Gonna be able to push the members of Eyes out of their plat, but Eyes as well just pushing through as many points as they possibly can, getting all the way into their 30s, and the Tri-Strike wasn't able to do anything, but we do see Spec ready with a Zipcaster, seeing what they can do with it, if anything, and Pathway is going to be able to kick the zone back. They are going to be able to pick one right there, but they're going to go down as Boopy is going to have to run away from that Reef Slider, barely making it out by the skin of their teeth, and ready to pop another crab on top of flat.
Yeah, there is that crab. You called it. We'll see if it gets anything done. Does force members of Ice back and further into this pit there, but Miner is not fully able to capitalize on that. Has the triple ink strikes at the ready, but any second that Ice does not spend on the zone is another couple of ticks for Pathway, and that seems to be what they're just trying to do, waiting for the members of Ice to come in to them. And now there's the ink strikes there. One of them went directly into that big bubbler that was popped as well. We do have two specials from Ice, and one of them is that Reef Slider that could be used for a very explosive breakup, but it has to be used soon. And Illusion goes down. I'm not able to do that. We have the triple splashdown from Uni, and it doesn't even cap the one zone, but it does come and neutralize him. Gets one pick, has to get this pick, gets the assist there. And with only 5 remaining before the knockout, Ice comes back and takes the zones. We're going to keep this game going.
Yeah, we do see Boopy with that crab, seeing if they can push the members of Ice back. Gonna be able to a little bit, not gonna be able to get any picks with it though. The cooler does come out from that pencil as well as Tri-Strikes. They are going for a push of their own, seeing if they can recap the zone. They are able to cap the far one. Are they gonna be able to get the close one? It looks like they're going to be able to, as 3 out down on the members of Ice. Very clean retake from Pathway.
Yeah, Zachary was just able to paint over that with no resistance because the members of Ice were otherwise occupied or down. Whoopi again has this crab. I mean, that's the name of the game.
How much special charge?
Yeah, how much special charge and how many crabs gets Illusion on looking for picks on this dome. That is really nice. Oh, gets another pick on the Junior Eyes, the namesake of this team. And we are very close to knockout territory again for Pathway, as there is just so much yellow ink here. This is kind of the lockout situation that I was talking about on Umami, where it's so hard to come back from this, especially when you don't have any specials. And they have the one there, the triple splash and comes out, but it is unfortunately too little too late, and Pathway knocks out their second game.
Yeah, very nicely done by Pathway. Able to retake very cleanly using those specials and being able to just keep the member of Eyes back in their zone. You mentioned that lockout situation, and we did see Boopy a little bit on, like, we didn't see their POV, but we're able to see them get a clean double to clean out this match.
For sure. It's when you're in a situation like that in Umami, it's just pretty difficult to back out of, to get out of if you don't have a really good retake special. And when you're in a situation like that where you don't have the time to get the special, it can get a lot more difficult to brute force your way out of the lockout, especially when you have a weapon like a pencil that is set up in mid and just kind of staring you down.
Yeah, definitely. But game 3 now, we are on to match point. We are going to be going to Robo Ramen. We love Robo Ramen, don't we?
We do love Robo Ramen. Household name here in competitive, and for good reason. I think the verticality on this map makes it super interesting to play. I mean, as an anchor player, I love perching up on the glass there myself, but I've seen many a good tournament match on this map where there's just so many different one-on-ones going down in the pit areas.
Yeah, definitely, and I'm really excited to see how this goes. And getting a little bit of insight into our other semis match, we do have a tie set between Sebuya and Swarm right now. Both teams are 1-1 in their semi set, so we'll eventually see who is going to come out on top of that. I'm really excited to see that. But going back to Pathways and Eyes, Pathway takes this match. They will be moving on to Grand Finals, and let's see what they decide to do here.
Well, like you said, match point indeed. So if Eyes wants to turn it around, they have to start it here and now. We do see the switch off of the Junior to the Splash, so we're going to mirror the Splash pick here.
Yeah, and I think Uni is running opening Gambit 52, so let's see if they're going to be able to get a pick really quickly. I see them trying to go for maybe a flank down under. They only have like 10 seconds left though, and they're getting cornered. Are they going to be able to keep this going? They're going to have to jump out. It's going to be really risky there. They have 5 seconds to get an assist or a pick. 2 seconds, 1 second, not going to be able to, and it looks like the opening Gambit is going to run out.
Unfortunately, they were really close there too.
They were.
I think I could feel it through the screen, honestly, being like, oh, it's gonna run out. But unfortunately, they don't have that for the rest of the game, which is a shame, because it definitely would have been such an asset to have it there on the 52. Illusion pulling attention away for the pencil does take them out in the corner there, but that is what all that quick respawn is for. Meanwhile, Uni is back and putting out paint on the zone, forcing a little bit of an interaction with Miner, but ending up dropping down to survive it. It's just a battle of neutralization with Primi doing their best on the pencil to just put out as much paint as they can, but being displaced from the triple ink strikes makes that very difficult. Eyes looking down for a second on the crab there, again putting out more paint. We do see another neutralization, and it flips back again. And Spect on this Stamper with the Zipcaster as well. We are in the 20s now, and the zone does not flip again. Pathway barreling, but finally, Illusions, Reef Slider, and the other paint. That is the catalyst that Eyes needs to finally flip this zone. Crab Tank here does get immediately shredded, but Ice is able to live through this situation and take out, and pop Aura after that as well. Wow, I mean, talk about overcoming the odds.
Literally, I thought Ice was toast when they got their crab pop, and they were able to not only survive, but also pop Aura. But unfortunately, gonna go down to that slosher there. 2 are down to the members of Pathway, 1 down to the members of Eyes. Just a whole bunch of picks going back and forth. Boopy with that Aura. They do have crab pop. We have a crab off. Eyes versus Boopy. Eyes is gonna come out on top.
Yeah, even with the Aura, just not quite enough for Boopy, and then Eyes still on zone, putting out that paint. Another neutral situation, and despite it being 2 down, Primi is going to come in clutch, although they do have to immediately back up. You can see Spect popping that Zipcaster, and they had to just move so far back. Everyone is down, and we have the Whales pop from Uni. Primi is, again, putting paint on that zone, but when you have the Sprinkler in the funny location, that is really helping out Pathway, keeping the zone here. Boopy, again, with the Aura-filled crab, looking for another target, locks onto Uni, locks onto Ice, who brings out a crab tank of their own, and it gets the splat there on Miner. That is a 3 down for Pathway, and so Ice is going to take this. Illu has the Reef Slider as well. If they put it in this choke point, it could be huge.
Yeah, definitely. They're just going to keep it locked and loaded in their back pocket. They will have it ready as long as they can. I think I saw a cooler pop, yes, for Pathway. So many specials coming out. We got the triple splash out. We have Spec ready with a Zipcaster as well. Gonna try to get the pop. Boopy is gonna get their grab ran over and then get picked off by Illu's Reef Slider.
Ooh, and Specs coming in from the top rope with the Zipcaster gets the pick on Primi, threatening another onto Illusion, though the recall takes them back before they can do so. And we are in a similar situation as to much of this game has been, where that in midsection is under control of Pathway, and Eyes need some sort of catalyst special to get it. But with the switch to this crab tank, I think it's honestly working wonders for them. They are forced, though, after grabbing the cooler to go off. Gets the burst bomb picked out, though, on Spec. That is a great pick. Unfortunately, going down in the middle of the zone. Illu again pulling attention, but goes down before they can reposition. As we head into our last minute, the control does flip again to Ice, putting again more penalty points, but because Pathway is just relentlessly ticking down the timer and has this iron hold on the zone, that penalty gets shorter every time it is applied.
Yeah, Boopy able to make a very clutch escape. I have never seen that escape before in the, how many years has this map been here? Don't even know. Very nicely done there. We have the crab puff by Ice right there, but only 5 more points on the zone for Pathway. Are they going to be able to hold out? Yes, they are. And Pathway is going to be moving on to Great White Grand Finals.
Yeah, that is a 3-0 for Pathway, and knockouts for all of them too. Of course, we had great moments from Eyes, and our first couple games, and honestly this one too, were very close, especially that first one. I mean, it was, I believe, 2 points to a knockout, so I fought quite well. I think that switch to the splash really worked for them, especially on Ramen, when, I mean, that spot on top of glass is pretty much the default crab spot, right? It works just very, very well. So I'm glad that swap worked out, especially when they were making their breakouts. It felt like they were a lot less stuck in that rut of being locked out that we saw in the Amami game.
Yeah, definitely. And looking over to our other semi-set again. Shibuya does have a 2-1 lead over Swarm right now. One more game and they will be in our grand finals match, but we'll probably take it to a brief break while that match ends, and we will be back with grand finals for SOS 228. Stick around.
I'm watching left guy.
Hey, jump.
They're jumping
Now we're back to a fight for the zone. Both of these teams are around, but 2 down.
Nope.
On to PXG, but grab tank.
Dead. Zone, ping. Oh, good shit. Oh,
No, dude, don't do this. Come on, yo.
nice. Nice.
Wait.
Hello everybody and welcome to Grand Finals of Swim or Sink number 228 All Zones edition tonight. If you're just joining us on Cater, joined here today by my lovely co-commentator Drew Marr. How are you feeling?
I am feeling amazing. We got an amazing grand final set between Swarm, who we saw in our quarterfinals that we commentated, and Pathway, who we just saw win in a 3-0 fashion in semis. So, really excited to see how these two teams turn out against each other in this winner-takes-all match.
Yes, indeed. Winner takes all. This is our last set of the tournament here with best of 5 all zones. Now, we are going to be beginning this set on Mahi Mahi Resort. A little bit of deja vu here as we've been back here before. Then we have Hagglefish Market and Ship-Shape Cargo Company maps that we haven't seen personally in our block yet on stream, so will be fun for that. And then if we go to our games 4 and 5, we've got Mako and Umami, other maps that we have in fact seen these teams on before. So it'll be classic maps, a little bit of some new locations. It'll be a great set. And both of these, I feel like these teams are coming in from kind of opposite ends of the spectrum here in previous sets. Pathway, like you said, we just saw him win that nice 3-0, and of course it was definitely a struggle against Ice, but in the end they were able to get knockouts on all 3 of those games. Now Swarm actually just came off of a very close, from what I could see, 3-2 set where they won against our number 1 seed Seibuya, and that last game was pretty tense from what I watched, so they have got to be feeling the pressure here. These are the collabs that we have come to expect from both of these teams. No switch-ups here. Let's get our grand finals started.
Yeah, both these teams going for a bit of a paint. One going to go down on the member of Swarm really quickly, and it's a whole bunch of trades, 2 down on either side. It is just a pencil and splash and a blaster, and I think it was 52 or
probably
heavy. Whatever, one of the two. Who knows?
I mean, it would seem, you know, within character 52 to stick around and be a little funny with it. But whatever it is, both of these teams had little breakouts onto the zone, but it is going to be Swarm with the first long push onto this zone, having this all the way down to 67 and counting. I did not do that intentionally. Shut up. I know that you're going to make a joke about it. Boopy does get a pick on the crab here as we pass that 61 check mark just by a couple of points. So we do see the stage opening up to provide a lot more ground, a lot more turf for specials as well. Swarm still they did have a little bit of penalty, but still having a great amount of presence in mid here as Trey coming in underneath the ledge to threaten the pencil.
Yeah, and I promise you, I wasn't going to make a joke about it, but I did.
Well, I know somebody in chat was going to.
I was looking at chat, and I bolted up from my phone like a sleeper agent. I hope you know.
Oh, yeah, I picked the wrong number to say on stream. Haha, funny number.
Yeah, but both these teams getting a little bit of a push going. Swarm does have the early lead here so far, getting down to 48, but they do have a little bit of penalty to put through. Spec is going to get immediately annihilated by that blaster and other member combo. 2 down on the side of Pathways, and Swarm is just taking a hold of the zone, and they are not going to let it go.
With that cooler, even if they do, they'll be right back where they started pretty quickly. Trey here does get that squid roll jump onto the upper right-hand corner, and now in a pretty threatening position with that 52 gal, gonna make the leap all the way over to Plat, and then immediately jump off. Hey, fair enough. Do what you gotta do to draw some attention. Meanwhile, Zeke has those triple splashdowns, gonna use them. Ooh, but Spec getting out of that with the Zipcaster and going in for a pick of their own with Pathway for the first time in what feels like a long time, getting a wipeout situation and getting their hands back onto the zone. As you can see, with them still being in the top 50s or 70s as opposed to the 16 from Swarm, it feels like a bit of an uphill battle, but with no penalty points to go through, they are making quick work of this timer.
Yeah, this would be a great map and great positioning for Miner, but unfortunately they're going to be taken out by Trey in that 52 gal. Whole bunch of members of Swarm is swarming that zone as in their team name, going 3 down on the members of Pathway, and they are able to retake the zone. Very nicely done by them.
Yeah, they are in a great position right now. I think just like we saw before, that heavy Splatling Pencil combination just puts out so much pain that it is overwhelming. And I know I sound like a broken record right now, but it is really the sticking point of this comp and they're using that to their full advantage. Pathway is looking for, well, a pathway back in, and they do find it with Whoopi getting the pick from this crab and pushing out another member. They are able to get the pick back on the zone. Spect again has another one of those Zipcasters. How many can one get in one match? Has to reckon with the whales, but relatively easy when they run out. The zone goes back to neutral with 2 down on Swarm, though. Pathway is able to get back into control, and Spect trying to camp that jump, but goes down before they can do so.
Yeah, we do have 2 down on the members of Pathway. Heavy Splatling popped by Helix right here, just putting a whole bunch of paint and pressure onto that zone. It looks like Swarm should be able to retake it, but a crab from Boofy might actually have other plans. A very nice jump out, and it looks like Pathway is able to hold out for the time being with 60 seconds left in this match.
Last minute here, our scores are getting closer and closer with 26-16 as Pathway is making their way to the lead that Swarm has set for themselves. But Swarm is going to stop them in their tracks with a 44-point penalty. It is still anyone's game, though, as there is a close fight of the zone. Miner popping the triple ink strikes, looking for a way to get Pathway in to neutralize the zone, taking the gal out on Swarm, but they go down themselves. We have the cooler going out here. The wave breaker goes out from Swarm, putting out the waves onto the zone, making it harder for Pathway to approach. They have the crab tank, but Booby is not going to find a pick at the end of it. Does find the assist, though, in the last 13 seconds. Pathway is doing everything they can to keep control of this zone, and Swarm wants to take it back, and they do take it back in just the last few seconds. Spect is in this Zipcaster, but they go down a celebratory triple splashdown to end off our first game. Close scores, but it is Swarm who takes the first point.
Yeah, both these teams had very strong pushes, very strong retakes, a whole bunch of back and forth with this one. Only a 8-point difference in game, no knockouts. This is definitely gearing up for a very interesting set.
Very interesting indeed. I think Swarm doesn't want a repeat of that game 5 that they had to sit through. They're saying, like, you know, we want to end this here and now. But of course, Pathway is putting up a great fight of their own. That was by no means a completely decisive game. In fact, I would say it's very well matched here in our grand finals.
Absolutely, I would say exactly the same. But game 2, we're going to be going over to Hagglefish, a map we haven't seen tonight during this block. So I think it looks like, are we going straight into it? We're just gonna go straight into it. All right.
Hey, we haven't had any
ways.
switch-ups. I wouldn't expect any now. A lot of these players are very set in the weapon that they're bringing here. Of course, that is not a bad thing. To practice and to love a weapon means great improvement every time you wield it in a match. And of course, I'm sure these players know these weapons like the back of their hand. It is a joy getting to watch them. Now, of course, you have the twin pencil mirror match immediately going out here. Boopy, of course, also immediately popping a crab take and does get the pick on Trey with the assist of their teammate, looking for another one, doesn't find it, but does. The displacement for the crab tank is always very important when you look for a target. You always want to pop it with a target locked on, so that even if you don't get the pick on them, you at least force them out of the area they were controlling.
Yeah, I definitely thought they were going to get a double with that crab, but unfortunately weren't going to be able to. Trey is going to go down in that corner as Swarm was able to get the first points of this game, but I believe Pathway is able to retake here.
I think our colors might be swapped.
I think the colors are swapped.
Yeah.
Yes.
Believe it is Pathway in. It's Swarm in the.
Swarm in blue and Pathway in yellow.
Yes. Okay. So, that being said, yeah, Swarm is the one with the arrows in their names. Okay, that being said, Swarm goes 3 down in this situation right now, and Pathway takes this opportunity. Oh, there is the wipeout. Taking this opportunity to go all the way up. I mean, look at how far that yellow paint is extending. Felix a little bit trapped here, not wanting to get too far in the ledge because, yeah, the barrage of subs and everything that is going to go does peek out to get the wave breaker down, forcing the members of Pathway to go a little bit farther back, but has to reckon with the triple ink strikes. Swarm is running out of time, but manages to Helix up there on the tent that the heavy splatling wants to be on and gets a nice pick. Finally, we are seeing the zone again get painted over and over. The neutralization leads to Pathway again. No penalty points applied. Trey having to run from this crab tank, but looking for another flank. They do get called out and are unfortunately not able to get anything done here. And so Pathway with this iron hold on the zone. Miner using this range of the splash to the full advantage. That is a knockout. With the zone being neutralized at that very last second, it doesn't count.
Sloshers, crab tanks, and burst bombs. Oh my. Pathway able to get a very strong win in game 2. We're gonna have a game 4 here in this set. Nicely done by them to even up the score.
Nicely done indeed. We're sitting at an even score, and I would expect nothing less from these teams, which means going into our game 3, the board is even once again. We will be going to Zones on Ship Cargo Company, another one where I feel like I definitely see Zones on here, maybe, you know, more than Crab Leg. We were talking about that in our I think first set of the night, but I think Zones they're a little more common here, but it doesn't. I don't think Zones when I hear Ship Shape. You know, I think Tower Control. But of course, the nature of having an all Zones tournament is that you got to bring in some variety. Otherwise, you're going to be playing the same 5 well-known Zones maps all night. So I'm happy to see Ship Shape Zones come out here now. I feel like Ship-Shaped Tower is one of those map modes that sometimes prompts comp changes. I don't think we're going to see the same thing for Zones here, especially this late into the tournament and not having seen any before. But, like, I like it when things switch up, so I will always have that little hope that we see somebody's pocket weapon come out on a silly stage.
Again, I don't think we're gonna see any comp changes by either of these teams.
I
pretty much, they know what they're doing. I could definitely see maybe an extra crab or something, or maybe a little bit more range. But I feel like the pencil and crabs, I feel like
no, it's so classic, of course.
It's so classic. It's so basic.
I mean, hey, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, right? And of course,
yeah, I mean, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yeah, Stack on that Stamper is going to have a lot of fun here. That Zipcaster can really work wonders, especially with just how long Yeah, how long this map is. There's some great crab spots here. The range is really going to shine from both sides here, I feel.
Yeah, I was gonna say they seem like they're taking a little bit more time doing comps, so it might be, but we're gonna keep going into it. Let's see if we have any changes. No sign of change from Pathway. And Stamper, we got a change.
Stickers!
We got a change.
Stamper. Okay, so we're bringing out the Booyah Bomb here. Actually, that makes a lot of sense here. I think there's been a few times.
Hey, we have opening gambit on the 52 again.
Okay, come on. We want to see.
Come on, Trey. Come on, let's see what we got.
Very close. Oh, lands one. Yeah.
With 15 seconds.
Oh, are we gonna see another one? They're really running it down. Opening gambit really brings out the
aggression.
The aggression in a player. I mean, out of necessity, you don't want to waste a whole main slot, but it is very funny to see just how into it some of these opening gambit players get. Boopy on another one of those crabs, but the Booyah Bomb going to shred it. I mean, I think that is probably factored into the choice to bring out that sticker Stamper is that you can really counteract the crab if you have the Booyah at the right time. Spec, of course, on a Stamper of their own, and the vanilla one having the Zip Caster is going to pop one here, try and disrupt a little bit of Swarm. Not quite able to get anything out of that, but it does look like a teammate was able to take out someone who was trying to camp the recall on that. We're already at 29 remaining though for Swarm. Boopy with another crab gets the pick on Zeke, and that is very crucial as Pathway tries to get back into this. Another pick. I mean, on a roll. They go down, but their teammates are able to finish the job, and we will not see a fast knockout here on Shipshape.
Yeah, Trey able to get that pick as well. If they still have that opening gambit, they're going to extend it another 15 seconds, I believe. So just keep with that aggressive play. So able to get a pick on Miner as well. Very strong right there. They have that whale locked and loaded. They're going to pop it on Boopy. See if they can get that pick. Able to get it as well, but they're finally going to go down in that corner. Swarm does have a pretty strong lead going into this, going all the way down to 29 and only very little penalty points. But see if the Tri-Strikes can get the momentum in Pathway's favor.
Yes, I hope so. And this Zip Caster can possibly turn the tides as well. There. Oh, actually, the trade between the two Stampers there. Yeah, Stamper is one of those weapons that can very well camp its, well, not camp, but defend its own jumps. And in the case, it was the trade there. But it did the job as Pathway is able to get some points on the board, get that pick on the zone. The combination of that and the Tri-Strikes from Miner helping out a lot there. Boopy, of course, picking up an almost there to another crab. All of the painting, all of the special charge. There it is. Gonna go up onto the high point here. Oh, actually not immediately popping.
Crab
I think they're waiting.
I expect the crab soon though.
Yeah, so soon. I think they're waiting for the members of Swarm to get a little bit more in range, because as it stands right now, they're just out of the crab's super effective range. Yeah, there it is. Especially right after that Booyah Bomb that is going to get thrown onto the left there. We have the Wave Breaker coming out as well, and that cooler from the pencil. So Swarm using all of these specials to do their best and come back, and their best is great because Swarm comes back swinging Trey in. That flow aura does go down, but they were able to get two down onto Pathway. Miner popping these ink strikes as they back up, trying to make some more space. Neutralize the zone, actually get that zone back and apply a little bit more penalty. We are 25 to 22, neck and neck.
Yeah, both these teams want this win so badly. It would be a very strong mental state if you go up 2-1 in this set. Zeke is going to get picked off. Spec with that Zipcaster, seeing if they can get anything, maybe get a pick on Zeke right there. Not going to be able to. And Boopy with that crab, finally getting some pressure onto Zeke. Finally going to get that pick there. Beautifully, nicely done. But it looks like they're gonna get the pick on Trey!
Ooh, huge picks for Boopy, still in this flow aura, now harassing a Helix over this pretty high up ledge here. I mean, they are not letting up. Meanwhile, Helix seems a little unbothered, honestly. They're just going about, okay, never mind, they're bothered now with all the burst bombs running at them. Actually gets the trade close up with Spec. Okay, go crazy with it. We love the heavy splatling. Thank you for the representation. We've got the triple ink strikes coming out again from Pathway, putting out more of that paint on the zone. They do have more penalty points to work through, but with the 3 down, leaving only Helix on that heavy splatling, this is a great start to work through that penalty, and they've got about half a minute left to do so. The cooler as well puts them in a very strong position, as well as because Spec is wanting to take more of these aggressive positions. The Pencil, also Zekrom, pretty far up on the very tip of this zone. Boopy again on another quintessential crab. If they get a pick here, it could be huge. They get one assist. Yes, gets the pick on Zeke and gets a good shot there from the explosion. That was the lead as well. And so with these last 4 seconds, Pathway is fully situated on this zone. No knockout for them this time, but I would say it's close enough to count.
Very nicely done by them. They were in such a disadvantage. It was like 22 to 98 remaining, and they were able to hold on long enough to get the lead for themselves in the last 10 seconds, and they're gonna go up 2-1 in this set.
Up 2-1 indeed. So now we are at match point for Pathway, who have started blazing their trail of momentum in their own favor, right? They found their footing, they figured out how to fight against Swarm, and right now they are in a position to almost repeat history from their last set and try and cap it off in a nice 3 games in a row here on Mega Mart. Now, Swarm, of course, does not want this to happen, and we know Swarm can put up a good fight because they did so in their previous set when they went to that Game 5 and came out on top. They are not going to go down without a fight.
Yeah, and if I remember correctly, I think Swarm was down 2-1 in that set at one point. Am I wrong? Let me see if I can take a look at it. Okay. So yeah, Swarm was down 2-1 in that set. So this is probably when their best gameplay happens. They've been in this position before. Let's see if they can break out of it again. Going on to Macklemore, we've seen this map already tonight. So anything else, Cater?
I mean, it's the classic, right?
Yeah.
We know what we're gonna see. The Comp, Pencil Ditto, the Slosher. I do think Miner's going to have a good time here. I will say that.
Yeah.
I think the Slosher is going to be very happy with the ledges. Same, again, with the Stamper. If we see, again, that Sticker Stamper, well, stick around. That Booyah Bomb is also going to be very handy. I think it's a really good counter pick against the constant crabs of Boopy. The Booyah Bomb is a great tool to shut it down, if not completely shred it outright, or, force them to go into ball mode to survive it. So it's a smart pick. I'd like to see it come out again. Let's see.
Yeah.
Oh, no, okay, we're swapping back.
Yeah, match point here in Game 4. Pathway has the opportunity to win this tournament right here, right now, in these next 5 minutes. Whole bunch of neutrality right to start it off, but Boopy trying to get as much paint on that zone as they can, able to get it immediately, already has a crab in 15 seconds. That is the power of Special Charge, ladies and gentlemen.
Power of Special Charge and power of having a weapon that you can just hold down. I wish I could get coolers that fast that it's hard to have to manage my charges, on the heavy item.
My beloved.
Yeah. Well, we have our weapon biases, and we'll both show them equally. We said Pathway, really nice. Oh, there is a pick there. It ends up as a trade with one down on both sides. Swarm slowly but surely making their way back onto the zone, neutralizing it, but Pathway comes back and takes it. The Wave Breaker comes out. The cap of the zone flips at exactly 50, and so now it is Swarm's turn to have their own slightly modest push here. Oh, Spec actually gets goes down at the very beginning of that Zipcaster, so something that could have been very important for them actually cut out, and Trey manages to get out of that situation with just a little bit of health left. Helix, though, caught in a bad situation as the zone turns completely yellow underneath them, and the Pencil also forced to back out as they are falling under fire. Pathway, with the zone completely under them, turns their attention to this left-hand side of the map with the Pencil watching for anyone trying to peek their head. Gets the Gal, actually. That is a very important pick, and with Spec having this Zipcaster at the ready, this could be devastating.
Yeah, definitely. The triple splashdown not able to neutralize the zone. 3 down on the members of Swarm. This is looking disastrous at the moment. Spec is going to go down, though, so a nice pick right there, as well as 2 down on the side of Pathway. It looks like Swarm is able to just regroup and be able to neutralize this zone. It looks like they finally might be able to pop it or cap it as quickly as they can. Yes, they will, giving a mighty 55 penalty to the members of Pathway. It's going to be hard to break out of it, but they definitely will be able to.
Yeah, that is a wipeout situation in favor of Pathway, though, as they find the members of Swarm one by one. Helix just as the last one standing, not able to get out of that situation fast enough. And now Swarm is again in these very aggressive positions. Miner and Specs, especially in this upper left-hand corner, waiting for a good time to drop down on Swarm. These triple ink strikes are going to be perfect, forcing the displacement, Helix goes exactly where Miner wanted them to. That is 3 down on both situations. Actually, we have a 1v1 situation. Whoa, hello! Oh my goodness, what's one? Yeah. Oh, Helix takes them out.
There's only 6 points left.
There's only 4 points left.
4 points.
Oh, and another.
This is so close.
Is so close. A painfully long neutral situation again, ending in favor of Swarm again with that wipeout to cap things off, showing that they are still fully in this game despite Pathway's best attempts to bulldoze through this what would be their last match of the set. But it is no good as Swarm shows that they are here to stay. The pencil locking down that stack, having to back up stack of their own, though. The triple ink strikes coming out, so much displacement again, but that zone still remains in control of Swarm despite it all, too. Down to the side of Pathway. This is where we see them shine. This is their best gameplay, what you were talking about. Zeke getting a pick there, and with the triple splash down, does not get the.
Yeah, we do see Boopy getting some picks on that pencil. So much damage there. Able to finally get the pick. Boopy is going to have to back up, though, because of that heavy from Helix. 3 down. That is a wipeout in favor of Swarm. They're going to be able to get some time to regroup, get those specials charged, able to fight through that penalty as much as they can, so they can try to get the lead back for themselves with 1 minute left in this game.
They very well could. Helix is waiting with this wave breaker, opting to put it on the top right stack there. Get some little location information on that. Meanwhile, Trey here is actually in the Floora state, has the whales coming out. Does fall down. And that is 3 down. Helix falling to Specs, just in the wrong place at the wrong time in the way of Spec, who goes is recalled from that, but 30 seconds left for Swarm to make their way back in as Pathway has a strong hold on this zone. Miner in the really annoying place underneath that ledge that Sloshers love to be in, but does go down here in this last couple of seconds. The whales go out, but Trey goes down. You have just a little bit. Z comes out onto the zone as these triple splashdowns. Those go one. No pick onto Miner though. Somehow nothing from there. Trey gets 1 pick, but goes down themselves. That's 2 down. Helix is left to fend for themselves on the zone as it gradually gets yellower underneath them, and the zone flips in the last couple seconds. Again, Helix, the last one standing, not able to make it happen. Pathway is going to take their 3rd game in a row and grand finals.
What a match. There were so many times during those 5 minutes or so that I was like, really? Like, it's petty. Like, either really is like they actually pulled that off, or really as in, how did that not happen?
I feel like those were some of the longest, like, neutral situations with both.
No, that wasn't just me?
Neutral,
okay.
Not neutral as in nothing happening, but neutral as
states?
in everybody is firing at the zone and somehow it is not
flipping.
happening. Yeah.
So many times I'm like, who is going to
3rd place match? Seibuya winning 3-0 for Ice. So congratulations to them. So that is Pathway 1st, Swarm 2nd, Seibuya 3rd, and Ice 4th for our top 4 here in Great White. But man, what a show! I mean, Swarm. I can't imagine how that felt coming off of the game, the hard-won game 5, and then putting on a very similar show here, fighting tooth and nail through for a 3-1 in grands. I hope they feel good about their performance because it really was a joy to watch.
Absolutely. It was so much fun to watch that set. And all of these sets that we had tonight, absolutely incredible by every single team. Such a joy to be on here tonight.
Yes, indeed. Also, shout out Shiny Whimsicott, because you can't see the seeds on here, but the seeds are, as expected for everything in orders, as in, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then it's Shiny Whimsicott is seed 21.
Yeah, it's
very
1,
funny.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 21, 8.
Counting with SOS. We love it.
Yeah. Shout out Shiny Whimsicott there.
Great Pokemon, by the way.
Very good Pokemon.
Yeah, we got to see Zekrom on stream. We see Shiny Whimsicott. Let's get a Pokemon themed something going on here, guys. It's great.
Absolutely.
All right. right, but man, what a show for our grand finals. Every time I come on here, it never disappoints.
Oh, it absolutely
Teams
not.
love to put on a show for us, and I am so glad that they do, because my job as a commentator is better for it. But that does it for us here at Inkling Performance Labs. Congratulations to Pathway for winning this edition of Swimmer Sync. Number 228. We're not on 300 yet. 228. All zones. Before we go, I do want to shout out our streamer, Pipe Dream. Thank you so much for making this whole thing happen. We would not have the stream without you. Our staff behind the scenes as well. And Drew, a real quick plug, where can the people in the audience find you on the internet?
You can find me mainly over on Blue Sky at drumar.bsky-social. You can find me every now and again, rarely over on Twitch as well, whenever I decide to stream at twitch.tv/drumar_. So, Cater, where can the lovely people on the internet find you?
Very similar. You can find me at blueskycater.inkling.social and other organizations where I do a bunch of casting. And if you watch some VODs of the Splatoon 3 North American League, you'll find me there too, or in the show where I lose or win, depending on what episode you watch, some trivia. With that, thank you so much, everyone, for coming out and watching. As always, we would not be where we are without you guys. You are what makes the magic happen. So thank you so much for watching another edition of Swim or Sink. We will be back next week, as always. But until then, stay fresh.
And happy Pride Month.
So true. I forgot about that. Happy Pride, everybody.